I don't get to hear.
Now
There we go.
Now nobody gets to hear anything.
Now we're cooking with gas. Speaking of gas.
No, it's not. No, I don't want to.
I haven't filled up today, and the first thing that Chuck said when he came in is, I filled up, and Chuck, surprisingly, went on a rant.
No. Here,
Everyone.
let me reset here. So it's 6:02, it's now 6:03 in the region, Monday, March the 9th. You're listening to the winter of Chuck's very discontent this morning. I walked in. Oil is at $103 a barrel. The S&P is down 1%. And just to be a little extra salty, I stopped and got gas on the way in. So Bob and everybody else.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
Somebody went on Amazon this weekend and bought some new toys, didn't you?
No, I've had these in my bag. I just realized I could do this the other day. I wanted to save on that because I have about 100 things that I want to play today, all blaming all of you for my gas prices.
I thought we had now invaded all the countries with oil, and it was all ours. Wasn't that the point?
Well, I mean, there's still Canada, right? I mean, I don't want to ruin the surprise, but you've got Canada up next.
I think Canada's going to need some freedom soon.
If you still have a space on your bingo card, we might accidentally invade Alaska. Who knows at this point?
How's that traffic and weather look?
Nobody can afford to drive. There's nobody on the road. They all stayed home. They're like, we're broke. We can't afford to put gas in our cars. Our NIPSCO bills are $1,000. We're all just going to stay home and starve because Iran's about 2 weeks away from getting nuclear weapons. So we had 2 weeks to flatten the curve. I mean, okay.
Traffic in Northwest Indiana's looking good. Everything from 80-94 to 65 to 30 and 41. Everything's green. Nothing standing out. That's all I got. I mean, really, everything's green. It's still 6 o'clock. You're
right,
good.
Everybody's home. They're
You're
like,
good.
I can't afford to go to work today because gas is going to be $10 a gallon soon. But hey, Iran is free. Hey, at least the good news is we have ousted Ayatollah Khomeini. We welcome the new supreme leader, Ayatollah Khomeini. So thank you for that. And they actually said this morning, I'm watching the news at like 4 and 5 this morning because I couldn't sleep. And they're like, guess what? The new Ayatollah Khomeini, the son of Ayatollah Khomeini, he's worse than the other Ayatollah Khomeini. Because of course he is, because that's what we do when we meddle in foreign affairs.
These Nepo babies running countries.
Right. You basically have the Paris Hilton of the Ayatollahs running this country. He probably has a chihuahua that'll be his vice president. So you guys have killed the Ayatollah and replaced him with a worse Ayatollah Khomeini that will be even worse than the other Ayatollah because we killed everybody else. And they're like, hey, success, mission accomplished. Where's Trump? Is he going to fly in on a fighter jet to the Nimitz today? Mission accomplished. We flattened the curve. I mean, how does this happen? How is this my life? That I'm the only one sitting here going, hey, I've seen this rerun. I don't like how it ends. There's a lot of people putting memes out. They're like, hey, it's 2001. It's 2001 again. How did that work out for us? Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like summer of 2001 right now.
It is 45 degrees in the region with a high of 72 today. It's going to be sunny
now you're taking jobs away from people.
And amazing.
Yeah, thanks. Lynette's like, you took my job away. Thank you for that.
I'm sorry. Really, I'm saving you. It's like dealing with
but I'm not wrong though.
You're
I'm
not wrong,
wrong.
But these folks want to know what the weather's going to be like.
Let me get it out of the way at 6 in the morning. Let me get it out of the way because I spent the whole weekend watching the news going, again? Like all of this again? The only difference this time is that unlike Barack Obama, Donald Trump was not wearing his Nobel Peace Prize as he blew people up. Right? I mean, had you guys just given him the Nobel Peace Prize, maybe he wouldn't have blown up as many people. But then I look historically, Barack Obama was wearing his Nobel Prize while he was drone striking weddings of innocent people. So, I mean, what's the difference? Just blow everybody up. Why not? I mean, we're getting our own fighter jets shot down by friendly fire. We've had a seventh casualty, not to be flippant, but we've had a seventh casualty out there of young men and women serving this military, that none of which signed up for this, none of which signed up for any of this. They just wanted free college. So my condolences to their families. I talked with Donna Dunn last week when you weren't here. I said, I don't know. I have a son about to turn 18. If he said, or if anybody I know said they were going to sign up for the military, I'd say, over my dead body will you serve pedophiles in Washington? Over my dead effing body will you serve this corrupt government? Because they're just going to send you somewhere and get you blown up while they're blowing up other innocent people, just to distract you from the Epstein files. So cool. We've killed 7 Americans to distract you from the Epstein files. I hope everybody feels good about themselves. Lynette, how's the weather? I'm sure at least we have one bright spot here in the region. It's that it's going to be a beautiful day. Tell us about the weather.
Sorry. I was sitting on my mic. Okay, good.
No. The real story is just, I'm sorry.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 46 degrees with highs of 71 and lows of 51. It's going to be breezy this morning, otherwise mostly sunny and warmer. And then tomorrow on Tuesday, we'll be having highs of 57 and lows of 41. We'll be having some sun, then turning cloudy with a couple of showers. And then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 47 and lows of 28. It's going to be windy and cooler with periods of rain and a thunderstorm.
Somewhere out there's a guy that retired over the weekend, and he's going to wake up this morning to see that his retirement account. Today is Black Monday. It's a beautiful day out, but it's Black Monday. Oil have I mentioned oil is $103 a barrel? Have I mentioned that? So thank you for that. Gas is like $6 and $7 in California today. So thank you for that.
I saw the Midwest projection by the end of the month was $4.25.
Does anybody have like one of those big farm tanks? Can I go? I'd like to just fill up now. Just buy like a couple 100 gallons now and just put it. Just going to bury it in the backyard. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? What? I blame every single person that voted for every single one of these clowns. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you're more than like 6 weeks old, you've been played over and over and over and over and over and over again to the tune of $39 trillion in debt, and you're like, maybe it will be different this time. Maybe it will be different this time. And it never is. It never is, Bob. Am I wrong? I was going to say, we might hit 39 trillion live on the air.
I was just pulling that up for you.
Just for fun.
We may hit 39 trillion while we're on the air today.
But it's cool.
Certainly
your NIPSCO bills are $1,000 a month. Your government won't do anything for you. But hey, you're getting the Bear Stadium. But no, you're not.
Probably not.
That's the best thing we got going. Let's have a big party for the Bear Stadium that you can't afford to go to a Bears game because they're $1,200 and there you go. We've got phone. People are calling in, really? Okay. Here's the deal. If I take your phone call, you must send me a $5 gas card. How about that? Everybody that calls in today, send me a $5 gas card. And
we are also almost at $1 trillion interest on the national debt.
Right. Do you know how much our military spending is? It's a hair under that.
How much we're spending, or how much the Pentagon?
Well, I mean, I was going to say it was how much is disappearing, but that was before we started blowing everybody up. So it's probably around so your interest on your debt is the same amount that you're spending on your military budget, and it's the largest military budget in human history. So cool, fantastic. Fantastic. Do you want to take some calls? Let's take some calls. What's the worst that could happen at this point? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Chuck. Wow, Chuck, you're a little over caffeinated today.
Are you his check valve was going. There was some steam out the back.
Why don't you go get gas while you're telling? Go get some gas this morning and tell me. Wait till tomorrow.
I knew this was going to turn into a shiitake mushroom show, so myself and Kathy, we filled up on Friday.
Good for you. I just bring some like garbage bags. Just start filling up garbage bags with gas. It's like I've seen this show before. And Dave, you're one of those people you're one of those reasonable people that regardless of what's going on, you get it, and I appreciate that about you. I mean, look, I'm full of you know what this morning, but I mean again, like, am I wrong? We've been on the air for how long? Like, I've seen this show. I don't like how it ends.
Over and over and over again, and there's obviously at this time it's very easy, since they're playing preacher clips, to use a preacher phrase. At this time it's very easy to point the stinky end of the stick at somebody, but when you fire all of your top diplomats, and then you fire all of your experts on the Middle East because they didn't vote for your president out of spite. And that's when you start dropping 2,000-pound bombs on orphanages because you have old intel and kill 100 kids. So and you mentioned the Epstein files. I was looking at memes yesterday, and then of course there's stats right next to it that the whole, don't forget the Epstein files is up 300% over the last few days because our American soldiers getting killed to try to erase that from the front of the headlines. And unfortunately, in social media, it's not working. It's actually getting turned up more and more and more because individuals are speculating that we're putting our young soldiers, our men and women, in peril just so one individual can say, I've been exonerated, which, of course, he hasn't. So,
well, here's the problem, though, Dave.
It's a dangerous time.
I saw a poll over the weekend that J.B. Pritzker is still one of the front runners for the presidential nominee on the Democratic Party. Mind you, a former president basically just outed him and said, oh, yeah, he took, we were buddies going to the island, and it didn't. So this is the idea where it's like, hey, we can criticize Republicans all we want, but, the Democrats are want to replace him with another dude, a wealthy dude that went to the island as well. So, again, like, try to tell me which way to go here, because you have the rich guy over here that was at the island, and then the rich guy over here that was at the island. Pick one. No, I'd rather not. Not. You know what I mean?
Like, well, if we had all the files released that were supposed to be released in November, we actually might know the scumbags who were there, right? And and then you hear that there's I'm just going to say, both sides of the aisle bringing their wife and kids to the island. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Come on. And this all of a sudden, we had no idea what was going on there. He was just a great, he was a great catalyst to invest your money in, and everything he touched was gold. And now that could very well be, but he's probably in some island in wherever, in some another island in the Mediterranean somewhere, right? And so
here's the thing, though.
This guy's dead.
But Dave, here's the way I look at it, and again, 845-1100 if I'm wrong. My political career is very much in its infancy. I have not been a congressman. I have not been anything high profile. But if a guy comes up to me and offers to take me to an island, my instinct says he's going to drug me and steal my kidneys. I'm going to wake up in an ice bath. How did so many of our politicians, the smartest people, we've selected them to run this country, and not a single one of them said, hey, this is a little bit weird that this guy walks up to me at a party and wants to take me to his private island. And I'm all in. Again, like, this is the political class. They just, you're so full of yourself that a guy walks up and wants to fly you private to his island. You're like, I'm in, sign me up. Nothing at all seems suspicious about this at all. You know what I mean? Like, how did so many people get sucked into this honeypot, and yet they're supposed to be the smartest people in this country? Explain that one to me. Go ahead.
And I'm just going to wait. I'm one of the first callers, and thank you. And Merry Monday. I hope everyone had a great week last week. We're going to hit 70 degrees today. Traffic is freakishly light, just to let you know, from Ripley to 394. Freakishly light. And I know it's still a little early, but I'm at or possibly exceeding the speed limit. But you're going to have probably 9 to 10 callers defending all this. You know that, right?
Right.
They're going to be defending $5 a gallon gas. The greatest guys ever walked the earth. They're going to be defending them, and all they can talk about is Biden, the Obamas, and unbelievably the irrelevant Clintons. So that's what you're going to hear.
Okay.
So you asked the question. I don't know this. I don't know that. You're going to have a handful of callers telling you what you should believe,
right,
and what they perceive as what they perceive as the truth. So good luck with that.
Right. Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate your
Take care, buddy.
I appreciate your friendship and your consistency.
Hey, have a good one.
He reminds me. I do want to talk about the Jesse Jackson funeral, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. It was a show. It was quite the circus, and there's lots to talk about. But maybe we'll save that for the next hour.
We should, because we should talk about how extremely rude it is to for a family to make a request and then every single Yahoo politician get up there and ignore it. So that's
no, I have a clip for that. I have
okay.
a clip, and I actually, believe it or not. So as an aside, I met Jesse Jackson Jr. when he was early in his political career when I was a journalist. I liked him. I said this guy just is a breath of fresh air. It was unfortunate that it turned out that he became like every other politician, and he went through a lot in the process, and now he's back on the scene because everybody's forgotten what he did the first time, and chances are he'll get reelected because, the voters have a short memory, and kudos to him because he'll get reelected and he'll go buy a bunch of fur coats and baseball cards and,
guitars.
Insider trade and guitars, and there'll be no consequences because when do politicians ever face consequences? And good for him. I mean, he's a good dude. You know what? If anybody's gonna, embezzle money to buy furs and baseball cards, I hope it's him, So kudos to him for being an upstanding guy. I'd love to get on the air sometime and talk about that. But no, legitimately though. I mean, look, if anybody's going to make money, and steal money, and I'd rather be him. He's a good dude. Why don't we take some calls? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, Chuck. I thought a guy like you would have an EV to drive, so you could give up the carbon.
Well, one of my long-term plans, Walt, is to go off the grid, which of course is illegal in this country. You go off the grid, they force you to go back on the grid. I'd love to go off the grid and have an EV, or even at some point turn my DeLorean into an EV because it will have no way for anybody to track me. But that's absolutely one of my long-term plans is to go EV and go off the grid. But again, government will punish you for doing that with higher excise taxes. So. But Walt, let's again, you're one of those guys that you've always been a voice of reason when it comes to these things. Is this one going to turn out different than all of the others in our lifetime? Iran specifically. I'm talking about the fact
which disaster are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that we killed Ayatollah Khomeini and they replaced him with Ayatollah Khomeini, who by all counts is worse than the previous Ayatollah Khomeini. Because again, that's what we do. We've lost 7 service members already, countless civilians already. Oil is $103 a barrel. The S&P is down 1%. We're probably going to have a Black Monday. It's going to have ripple effects and long-term effects on our economy. But hey, we blew up some oil.
Well, Washington has a long history of thinking if they just chop off the head of the snake, that's the end of it. And war is a whole lot more complicated than that. But I really like to talk about AI. How about that?
Yeah, why not? Let's do that.
There's a lot more coverage about AI and the implications of it. Last night I was watching C-SPAN. You remember Andrew Yang?
I do. Yang Gang.
He ran for the
UBI.
Why
presidency. Not? Yeah. No, I remember. Yeah.
He ran for the presidency back in 2020, and he was advocating for a guaranteed income for everybody. And one of the things he talked about at length was AI. Now he was on last night touting his book. And he's just another example of the growing talk about AI. And he complains. For one thing, he pointed out. He said, much of what I predicted back in 2020 has come to pass. But his concern was that industry was in a headlong pursuit of AI without any sense about guardrails. And where that could lead us. And another guy who talked about that a long time ago, you remember Stephen Hawking, the British cosmologist?
Yeah.
He was also down at
He was also on the island. But hey, let's not get that mixed up. But right. No, he talked about that.
I like your island.
But so here's the thing though, Walt. I've always had kind of a theory, and you're a smart guy. I want to get your opinion on this. So Yang had always pushed the idea of UBI. I've long contended that we would be better off as a country just writing checks because our safety net has grown so large and inefficient. Again, you look at Social Security, there's like 60,000 people working at the Social Security Administration, yet not a single one of them at the window when I need some help. You've got all these, we spend $100,000 per homeless person, and yet there's still homeless people. I contend that from an efficiency standpoint, we would be better off just writing a check to everybody every month and stop pretending and stop having all of these inefficient government programs that are usually full of, waste, fraud, abuse, nepotism, et cetera. We would just be better off just writing somebody a check. And if you drink it or put it in your arm, not my problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think from an efficiency standpoint, we could basically get twice as much money to the people and spend, we could spend half as much giving twice as much to people if we just got government out of the way and just said, here's your debit card, here's your money, go do whatever with it. I mean, I think does that make sense?
Well, if you do the math, that's probably the case. In that, Washington's the huge personnel burden that Washington imposes on us. If you took these programs and simply sent out checks, as you suggested, instead of having bureaucrats making decisions about it, it'd probably be cheaper. But that ain't going to happen. A lot of what, particularly the Democrats, when it comes to those small checks, their main political agenda is to figure out new ways to buy votes, and the way they buy votes is demanding more and more government spending, right, and they're finding more and more victims that they can set out as a special category, or they're entitled to this. And so you have what you have in Minnesota, where the Somalis, for example, Somalis who have been here for 10 years, 70 to 80% are some kind of public dole, and nobody did anything about it in power. I mean, there were people who pointed the finger at it and said, hey, there's a lot of hanky-panky going on over here. And the governor of the state, Waltz, said, you're a racist.
Right. Everybody who was hired, about it. The guys that were hired to inspect and investigate the problem all got fired when they brought up the fact that they found problems, which is to be expected in government. But again, I used AI to Google this real quick. I mean, even look at this. The Social Security Administration, their budget is $15 billion. So the SSA spends $15 billion to take in your money and then give it back to you later, right? I mean, what does it cost a bank to do that? Like, here's your money. Give me your money. I'm going to hold it and give it back. We spend $15 billion a year just to collect money and give it back to ourselves. If you're lucky, you get. I mean, the amount of just waste, fraud, and abuse in this government. That was somebody who was talking the other day to, I think it was Josh Hawley. He said, I think this government wastes about $115 million a day. And I said, that's probably low. But I mean, again, that's what people in politics tell you. I say, well, what's the solution? There is no solution. There's no desire to fix the problem. I was listening to somebody the other day talk about, the thousands of grannies that Elon Musk killed with Doge. Like, Doge did nothing. And yet, according to them, history will go down and say that Elon Musk killed grandmas because he was trying to make government more efficient. So,
and look what happened to his automobile agencies. They were attacked by the usual suspects. And do you know that you go back to the 1930s when Social Security was created by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, as well as aid for dependent children and so forth? The AFDC program, for example, the crafters of it, they believed that AFDC would disappear. That all the program, all the money would go for widows and orphans, kind of thing. And they always, just like any developer or comes up with a new idea about something, there's nothing but good stuff about it, nothing bad about it.
As I like to say, our experts could not have predicted this, even though it's happened over and over and over again. But our experts could not have predicted this. So, if you go ahead, we do have to take a break.
If somebody like me and says, "What's the downside of this?" and their reaction is always, "Well, you're being too pessimistic, or you're lacking in compassion, or you're a racist." The guy who just got done talking to, he's a party to that.
Well, and that's the thing. When people say you're a pessimist, I say, sorry, I read too much history. I know my history. That it just sort of makes you a pessimist when you know what's coming next. So, Walt, as always, appreciate the call. We are going to take a break. I was just thinking, Bob, Chuck here behind me, he is not discontented enough. Can we ask AI to make him more?
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
Stand by.
Okay, thank you. Let's take a break, and we'll be taking your calls. If you haven't already, go straight and get gas while you're waiting. If you're waiting on hold, or if you're getting up this morning, just go get gas now. Trust me, gas is up 20. Oil is up 20%. So go get gas before it's $8 a gallon. We'll be back with more good news here on a Monday on WJOB.
For over 100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
Summer's coming, and Deep River Water Park is taking applications for all positions. We have jobs both inside and out for all ages that offer great benefits. Free admission on your day off for you and a friend. Free uniforms, paid training, make new friends, flexible scheduling, and more. To apply, just go to deepriverwaterpark.com and you're on your way to a summer of rewarding fun.
Deep River Water Park. It's simply splash-tastic.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, Powers Health.
It's 6:30 here on a Monday. Let's take a look at traffic and weather before I get worked up again, and then we'll get back into it. Traffic looking surprisingly light. Things are moving along very well. Maybe it's because all of you can't afford gas this morning. We'll get into that in a minute. But you got a little slowdown, Dan Ryan into the circle. Little slowdown, Bishop Ford to the Dan Ryan. Other than that, everything looking good in Illinois. Everything looking good here in Indiana. We've got a beautiful day shaping up. Lynette, why don't you tell us about that?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 47 degrees with highs of 71 and lows of 51. It's going to be breezy this morning, otherwise mostly sunny and warmer. And then tomorrow and Tuesday we'll be having highs of 57 and lows of 41 with some sun, then turning cloudy with a couple of showers. And then Wednesday we'll be having highs of 47 and lows of 28. Should be windy and cooler with periods of rain and a thunderstorm.
Thank you for that. It was announced over the weekend that Ayatollah Khomeini, who we blew up, has been replaced.
With who?
Ayatollah Khomeini.
What?
Who, as it turns out, the son of Ayatollah Khomeini, who many believe is worse than the original Ayatollah Khomeini.
No.
If you haven't checked.
Oh, don't you just hate these Nepo Ayatollahs?
Oil is at $103 a barrel. It's the highest it's been in, I think, 4 years. The highest spike ever. S&P's down 1% in pre-market. I would say 100%, that may be later this week. The S&P's down 1%. Expect a Black Monday this morning. So for everyone that thought going to Iran was a good idea.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
How are you this morning, Bob?
I'm doing clearly much better than you. Please do not look at my screen. Right now on my screen is the Dow Jones.
I was just making sure that it's not down 100%.
Yeah, I don't need you. I've got all of Chuck's favorite tabs open right now. YouTube, which he's not paying attention to the comments, traffic, weather, the national debt clock, and the Dow Jones.
And thank you for that. You also updated the graphic, because if there's one thing we need, it's a mission accomplished banner after what's been going on.
Thanks, Walt, for calling in and giving me the time to toss that up on the screen.
Mission accomplished. 7 days to flatten the curve. They were weeks away from nuclear weapons, and now the new Ayatollah Khomeini.
That was in '88, I think.
That was in 53 and 79 and 83 and 87 and 92. But this time, my friends, it was definitely different. Do we have phone calls?
We do.
We should take some. I can't wait to hear from our callers. Our lovely callers. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Do you have any good news for me? I hear myself shouting in the
Pardon me?
I said, do you have any good news for me? I don't have a whole lot of good news this morning.
Well, all the news right now is bad news.
Yeah,
okay? And I don't like that. It should be good. It should be good news, but I guess bad news sell. Okay.
Right.
Let me just say that Walt, he calls in a lot of times. He would attack me on my opinions, but he never attacked the president of the United States on his opinion. You know, that's strange. It seems like I don't know Walt, and he don't know me. I live pretty good, and I'm thinking about. I like to fly. I like to fly out of the country sometime, just get away from my daily activity of working, and because I still, even though I'm retired, I still work. I'm a businessman, so I still work.
Did you hang on? Did you say out? Did you say out of the country or out to the country? Both of which good ideas at this point.
Out of the country. I fly out of the country sometimes to the R&R spots where I can enjoy myself, and it's really good. But I'm afraid now because they're saying that anybody who's out of the country ought to get back in because you might not be able to get back in. And right now it's a situation now. We want to say we want to be in control of who's in control in Iran. Now, who Donald Trump to say that he wants to be in control to determine who that person be? That seems to me like a dictator, man. I mean, come on, give me a break. I'm not suggesting that his son is probably worse. He's a bad guy, too. But don't tell me that I want the president of the United States to come in and say, I want to determine who that leader. That's just about as bad as them saying that something happened in our country. We want to take Trump out and we want to make the leader of that country.
Well, unfortunately, Ron, we had some people in mind, but we blew them up, as it turns out. We blew up the people that we were going to choose to replace Ayatollah Khomeini. We blew them up, so he replaced them. They replaced them with his son, who is worse than him. This isn't a punchline. This sounds like a joke. This sounds like a joke I tell at a bar. We picked some guys to run a country, and then we blew them up. It's not a joke. This is the sad reality of our country.
I know.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Now, let me say that, gentlemen, as I sit down and I think this thing out, I think I know what's going on. I think I know that when you put all these Turks on things, when I go to the grocery store, the gas right now, you blow up these things, and then we depended on these countries for to turn this oil. So right now they got us at bay, man. That's got us, and it's a couple of calls. They're a decent piece of people, but they stuck on being a Republican. I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat. If you're not doing anything to better the relationships in this country, and I think right now the relationships is bad in this country. And the reason I say it's bad, I looked at the Jesse Jackson thing. All the leaders came here from clean across the world to here. Matter of fact, that Jesse Jackson had brought some troops home from what he did. He did a whole lot of good things. But one guy called in and talked about Jesse Jr. Well, that wasn't about Jesse Jr. That funeral.
No.
We're crazy.
Hang on. Well, we're gonna...
No. I'm not saying. I'm
saying there's a reason. So Jesse Jr. came out and he said before the funeral, he said, "Please don't politicize my father's funeral." And then after the fact, he said, "I sat there for 3 hours and listened to people But again, it's like you don't invite a bunch of politicians to a funeral and invite them to speak. But
no. But I'm saying it is good. It is good that all the three a former president, and
five actually.
Vice
Five,
president.
according to Isaiah Thomas,
I mean,
there was
talk
five
about
presidents.
talk
there.
about trashy, disrespectful.
Who was the other?
Kamala and Hillary.
Kamala and Hillary were the other two presidents.
If you watched it, they said Kamala and Hillary.
Hillary has never been president.
Isaiah Thomas said that. He used the pulpit as an opportunity to talk about how.
Gentlemen,
go ahead.
Gentlemen, I said presidents. Hillary was
no, sir. Okay, Ron, hang on. Isaiah Thomas spoke at the funeral, and he used it as an opportunity to say that President Trump stole the election from both Hillary and Kamala, and in his mind, they were both the president. So he said five presidents. Okay. I mean, again, you're using the poor man's funeral.
Isaiah Thomas was wrong. Isaiah Thomas was wrong.
But there are people that agree with Isaiah Thomas. There's a lot of people that agree with him, though. That's the problem.
Here, I want to interject here because
I understand.
I want to get your opinion on something. I want to get your opinion on something real quick.
Let me go further a little. Then I'll. I mean, I'm not telling you how to run your program, but I'm just saying. I'm
just telling
somebody needs to. Though.
Somebody needs to.
Somebody needs to what?
Somebody needs to run this show. No, my question was going to be is folks like Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, who are the standard bearers for the Democrat side, were extremely disrespectful to the wishes of the family, and I just didn't know if you had any thoughts on that. I mean, the family said, hey, guys, no politics. Let's just make this about Dad. And they went up there and they yacked on politics for a while. I mean, extremely disrespectful. Well, and any of that, the good vibes of, hey, all this good stuff Jesse Jackson did, let's ignore all the other stuff. I say throw that out the window when you get folks like Obama, Clinton, and Biden who say, we don't care what the family wants. Let's make this about Trump. I mean, talk about embarrassing for the Democrats.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't agree with everything went on there. I don't agree with everything. But I think it was well attended, and it was people from clean across the country. And because Jesse Jackson did a lot of good things, he was a part of Martin Luther King and those people who actually was nonviolent. They was not. These black people. They say, well, they were violent. They were not. They taught nonviolence and doing this way. If we are to make it in America, we are to join in, throwing red, white, and blue. That's the American colors. But and I try to talk to sometimes befriend people who are opposite color or myself, because I believe that we have more in common than we have to divide us. But again, if you have persons like Jim Jones, he took them people in the Guyana and they all perished, they killed. It's almost like these people are drinking the Kool-Aid and they say, well, you are against Trump. Well, I'm against coming in and paying all this for gas. You already telling people to go and get your gas, and you're right, because you're going now. I haven't yet to hear anybody say that. What about Donald Trump? What about the guy from Russia is aiding Israel and blowing up? What about this? Here's the guy that right now we try to stop a war, and this guy he's not a friend of Donald Trump. Even though Donald Trump has said in the past he's a good friend of mine, they can work together. You trust me? It's not. I have yet to hear the media say that, and I'm gonna tell you, you guys there, if you all had interviewed Donald Trump, he was called you Miss Piggy and all that stuff. He needs to grow up. I'm just simply saying that right now, America is right now, and I think it's going to get worse. I really think it. How worse can it get?
It probably will.
I think it'll get worse because right now, everybody wants to be the king. Okay.
Right.
And right now, these people here who the little people who want getting hurt. Are you aware that most politicians in Washington are millionaires? Do you know that?
Right, and they were some of them were like broke bartenders when they took the job, and suddenly they become worth tens of millions of dollars. It's weird how that works out.
And I'm not going to try to beat Nancy Pelosi up, but she's worth $100 million,
$300. I think it was it $200 million.
No, it's not her. It's her husband.
It's her husband that insider traded. Not
it's her husband that takes the beating.
So here's what happened. Hang on. What had happened was Nancy talks in her sleep, right? So there she is. She's half asleep, and she's Palantir. He goes, what? And he would trade because she talks in her sleep, right? She's, short Palantir. And then he would do it, and that's how they got rich. So it's not insider trading. It's just like pillow talk, right? It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I just happen to say that I like some of these people, Democrats and Republicans, even though they're millionaires, they work and as long as they don't steal nothing, because we know that they go into stocks and stuff like that. And I just happen to believe that there are some Republicans who are good. I like John Kasich out of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it or not, I like Mike Pence, and I don't go, ooh, Mike Pence. Well, yeah, because he was a Christian man. I just believe, and he did what he had to do doing the thing. But again, they weren't to hang him. You know, what kind of America is that? What kind of America is that? He was just following the Constitution, okay? So, again, I hear these people like, this gas is going up now. You can't say it's not Biden. It's in Donald Trump's lap right now. It's in Donald Trump. I want to hear some of those people who say, the gas, the food, let me tell you, it's terrible. And whenever you put tariffs on these countries, basically what you're doing, we're taxing you all, taxing myself, because that's what we're going to do. When we go to the store, we're going to end up spending more money. So, like I say, I'm doing okay, but some of the people I hear call are not doing so okay. They live in payday to payday. Right. As my son often tell me, Daddy, he said, do you understand that some of the young people who finish college don't have $5,000 in the bank? I said, yeah. I said, that's true. That's true. He said, but yet and still, we would get and started talking about, what Donald Trump is doing. So you got to be able to get out and work for yourself and not depend on the government to do anything for you. However, if there's a situation where you have a situation, and I know people who are physically or mentally incapable of doing for themselves, so naturally they have to depend on the government. Government is supposed to do for people what people can't do for themselves, okay? But here we got pedophiles here, and on both sides now. So I always see the best side in Washington D.C. with Epstein persuaded. These are pedophiles, and we got some local pedophiles right here in this community.
You can Google it.
So
you can Google it. But
okay.
No, I'm saying you can. I'm just saying. I'm not going to say it on the radio because I can't afford a $2 billion lawsuit. But you can Google it. Anybody has it on their phone.
I know who they are.
Some of them running for office. But hey, that's another story for another day. I said some of those people on the list running for office right now, but we don't talk about that. But Ron, we do have to take a break.
But I'm just go
ahead.
Okay. Thank you.
But hey, I appreciate you.
I know they're going to talk about. I know my good friend. I know my good friend Walt's going to talk about me, but that's okay.
Okay.
I'm somebody, and he needs to be somebody. Okay.
You have a good day. I appreciate it. Why don't we take? Do you want to take a break? Why don't we take a break? Let's do that. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more Mission Accomplished here on a Monday morning on WJOB.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Ennigenberg Roofing offers roof replacements, repairs, and new construction. CertainTeed Shingle Master certified, our goal is to treat every customer and project with respect, courtesy, and honesty. Serving Northwest Indiana for over 63 years, contact us for a free roof replacement estimate at 219-365-8879. Mention this ad and receive a free upgrade to CertainTeed Pro Shingles. Ennigenberg Roofing, 219-365-8879.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and the last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
Are you sausage curious?
Who's ready for a bowling?
Big Frank Sausage has the very best Polish food in the region.
You had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage?
We have a full bar, dine-in, carry-out, delivery, and catering available.
I've had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
I've got a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
219-378-9556. Smacznego i na zdrowie.
Who's ready for a Polish?
6:47 in the region. Over the break, Bob got excited, and he said he wanted to talk. So I guess it's been 47 minutes into the show.
Yeah, it's been 47 minutes, and we're going to pipe Chuck down for a second to, let the oxygen supply come back in the room.
So here's the thing.
Jeez,
here, look. How about we let you have the last segment of each hour? How about that? How about you drive but I mean, Joe's not here, so the microphone's probably going to be on.
Probably going to work.
Good there.
Things are going to be clicked in the proper order. No, I just want to say our last advertisement was the Big Frank sausage. Love Big Frank sausage. We had some folks complain about that ad,
right?
That it was sexist. That hey, how come it's just the women who like?
We can do an ad for them.
And I said, I love Big Frank sausage in my mouth. I mean, come on now. That is absolutely ridiculous. I think
is that going to be on your yard sign?
It is.
Fantastic.
New yard sign. And for those folks that can't find the humor in that, I apologize for your, sad mornings. That's all I got.
You have 12. No, you have 12 more minutes to fill till the top of the hour. So you better come up with something fast.
No, I'm good.
Okay. I did want to talk about at some point. I'll talk about your show on Friday.
Yeah,
that was fun. That helped my blood pressure a lot. That was good. That was a good show.
You were texting me the whole time I had Mr. Varacco on.
Here's the thing.
You're like the referendum. I had to put my phone down.
You had Mr. Varacco on. Well, he was a teacher of mine. He was the principal. But it was funny to me. And again, I'm glad he came on a Friday and not a Monday, which probably is the reason for that. It's funny when you mentioned you made that joke about how his best accomplishment was the dynamic duo on Mondays. Didn't even crack a smile. Didn't get a response.
No,
not even a look.
No, I'll be honest with you. So I'm sitting here, he's sitting right there, and I said that looking with him. We have to go back in the YouTubes because I promise you there was a smirk of discontent.
There was the smirk of discontent. But again, so you asked him what his greatest accomplishment was, and he said it was spending $120 million of my dollars. Which again, he should run for politics because that's a typical political answer. It's like, hey, my greatest accomplishment is spending your money. But again, I don't mind because we did actually need a new high school. I get it.
Well, and I think sometimes that is where.
That's where we
some of the libertarian argument goes off the rail because sometimes you need roads, sometimes you need cops, and sometimes you need schools.
And so here's the thing.
So how do you do that without doing a referendum? How do you buy a house without a mortgage?
Let me digress for a second because I was going to bring that up. I was talking to somebody over the weekend about my crazy libertarian philosophies. And he said to me, you crazy libertarians, you telling me you want to be such an isolationist that you don't want to spend a dime outside of this country? I said, you know what? I'm such an isolationist. I don't want to spend a dime in Lake County. I don't want to give a dime to Lake County or Indianapolis or Washington. That's how much of an isolationist I am. But I don't mind paying my property taxes because I know my town is well run, just like Dyer is well run, and a couple of the neighboring communities are well run. So I don't mind spending my money locally because I see where it goes. As far as I know, none of you guys are on the Epstein list. None of you guys have made millions of dollars insider trading. So I don't mind paying like my property taxes because you guys are doing good things with it. I drove by your beautiful new amphitheater pad the other day. I showed my son. I said, we got work to do over there.
We do.
So that'll be fun. But yeah, so I mean, the guy's like, you're that much of an isolationist. I said, I'm so much isolationist, I don't even want to spend money outside of my own town because, again, I see where it goes. Indiana, like, look at what a mess this state is. We spend all this money in gas taxes, and like we don't have money to fix the roads. It's like, what is going on? Where is this money going? But again, go Bears, right? Go Bears. We got the $1 billion. A couple of people came up to me over the weekend that talked about the article, the Tribune article, and they thanked me. Somebody messaged me on Friday, or was it Thursday or Friday? And I just got a one-line text in my Facebook Messenger. It's a friend of mine from Hammond. He said, "I'm never getting new sewers, am I?" Question mark. And I wrote back with a question mark because I didn't get the joke. And then he responded with a picture of Jelly Roll. And he just said, "I'm never getting new sewers, am I?" I said, "Well, I don't know. Maybe Jelly Roll will build sewers. He looks like the kind of guy that will dig a hole and build a sewer. I don't know. Maybe he's going to come to town and build a sewer. Possibly. We'll take a call.
Let's take some calls.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, Chuck, I see you need to get straightened out again.
You going to come kick me in the nuts? We can
No,
say that on the air.
I think when you...
Hey, hang on. I'm pulling up the FCC words.
No,
right
he's
now.
been the clip's been playing for weeks now of him saying he's going to kick me in the nuts. So the FCC would have come after us at this
Chuck,
point. So
I don't even think that'll help. I've analyzed you. Did you, when you were younger, did they take your lunch money and bully you?
No, I played
think they
baseball. I played Little League on the giant pile of lead in East Chicago. Maybe that's where that. But the whole time, our former congressman knew all about the giant pile of lead, but did nothing about it because he's a friend of steel and writes strongly worded letters. I think it was all the lead.
I think you got to get a little courage. I actually think.
Oh, I
you
need
got
more
your
courage.
lunch money stolen.
Yeah, no, it could
But
be.
anyways, as far as my buddy steel worker Ron, he talks about war. I live next to Gary, and it seems like there's a war going on there every night. And then when I look at the news, people shot, people killed. So Ron Madlock's my buddy, he's a friend of mine. He lives in a glass house, okay? And that's why they call Chicago Chirac. But I want to give, I studied, see, there's something that both you don't have that I have. I come from the greatest generation.
A dirt bike.
And all my, now listen, all my uncles were in war.
Right.
And one was in the camp in Auschwitz. Trump is a madman, okay? No doubt.
Right.
And there's somebody else that was called a madman. And I'm going to give you my cardboard cutout from my show of George Patton.
Right.
They called Trump a madman too.
So
And
are you
Kuciak-
comparing Iran to World War II? Is that mission accomplished?
What I'm trying to tell you, they compared, said Trump was a madman, and look what he accomplished. I mean, they said Patton was a madman, and look what he accomplished. Now they're saying Trump is a madman, and if you study history, and I tried to tell Kuciak, when Trump says, I like the alive people, if you go Google Patton, in his speech when he comes back home, he says, we honor the dead that fought in the Third Army, but we honor the living too. And when Trump said he loves the soldiers that came back alive, Kuciak got all upset. That is a page out of Patton. Okay? So if you really want to think about it, we're at war in our democratic cities here. I know it's wrong, and I pray for the soldiers that died, but there's more people that'll die, and I run the numbers on every week in Chicago for that same very reason. When Madlock could call in here and say, you know what, there's more people killed in my community last year, or Chicago and democratic cities, something to complain about. But just to call in and bash Trump every day is a one-trick pony.
Can I ask
and
a
I
question?
want to know. Go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
Chances are, historically, after we blow up Iran, we are probably going to come in and spend a lot of money rebuilding it.
Because they're going to need roads.
They're going to need they need roads.
They need roads and schools. So
will they have a school referendum and the highest gas taxes? Even though they have,
no.
So the question
Can't do
is,
that.
the question, MX, is, in the last few years, I've helped rebuild Iran. We're going to help rebuild Iran. I've helped to rebuild Ukraine. I've propped up their pension system. I'm helping Israel to the tune
you
of...
bailed out Greece a few times.
I bailed out Greece. Right, that was fun. So I'm bailing everybody out, but nobody comes to bail us out. Nobody comes to bail out. You mentioned Gary.
It's the price
You're
you
right.
pay for living in a free society.
It's a free... Well, so that becomes my... Where is Gary's bailout and where is Chicago's bailout? And where is New York's bailout?
You got to wait for Pritzker to be elected.
Well, and so that becomes.
Well, you know what? Didn't the Democrats? They're all for open borders. We could have gave that money to Gary. I'm all for giving that money to Gary, but Trump is finishing, and I think, what the heck's his name? Jimmy Carter was a good president because he took the hit and didn't complain that his mission failed. Trump is finishing what Jimmy Carter started, and he failed that mission. He didn't fail it.
Well, that's a
But
fool
the
you made.
So,
carburetor
okay,
got
see,
up with Dan.
you bring up a good point.
And then after that, after that, you had Obama that my friend Dave from Gary never mentions that $1.7 billion they gave in pellets of cash.
Pallets of cash.
Now, do you really think? No. I'm going to talk here.
No,
I
agree with you.
Let Madlock talk.
No, I agree with you.
Do you really think Eisenhower would give $1.7 million
Trillion.
to Germany
$1 trillion
while Patton was fighting that war? No. So Obama, why doesn't Dave
Germany,
from Gary and Madlock, my buddy, and he's a good friend of mine, talk about when you sing "Death to America"? Why did Obama give him $1.7 billion
trillion?
To kill us? Okay. Now, $1.7 billion in the pellets.
I'm just trillion. What is it? Trillion, billion, quadrillion? Who cares? I mean,
it's a billion.
Pallets of
it's
cash.
$1.7 billion. So why, here they're screaming "Death to America," and then Obama's giving them money to kill us. Now, we all know that Clinton said he had Osama bin Laden in his sights, and he didn't do nothing. They could have killed him.
Right.
The SEALs could have got him, okay? And then Clinton told George Bush Jr. all about Osama bin Laden, but it was too late. So as it goes on, and I watch history, and I'm a product of a World War II veteran who was wounded in the Rhineland with 2 Bronze Stars and a Purple Heart, and my uncle from Florida, he was in a concentration camp, and they all sat at this table. And you know what the courage was? I heard when they had Germans, march them over the hill and kill them. So and I'm sure they killed a lot of Germans, okay? March them over the hill and kill them. So I come from a different era. But this thing, a constantly one-trick pony every morning bashing Trump. You live in a glass house. Now what do you got for me, Chuck?
You know what I got for you, MX?
Kicking the nuts?
It's 7 o'clock in the region.
The next caller.
You're listening
I gotta
to
go.
AM.
Love you guys. Love you. Bye.
Love you too,
I love my buddy Ron, too. Bye.
Love for everybody. Love for everybody.
It's 7 o'clock in the region.
I like these new chairs.
You're
Can you
listening.
still hear
I
me
need
this
to
far
say
away?
the legal ID. No, I can't. Hang on. It's 7 o'clock in the region. You're listening to AM 1230, 104.7 FM in beautifully rustic Hammond, Indiana. We are the voice. The voice of
the face.
Let's say the voice and face. The voice of the region. We'll be back with more after this.
I didn't know we were going on break.
It's 7 o'clock. That's your one job. It's like it's 7 o'clock. Let's go to break.
You just jode the board over
She's
there.
confused. She's like, you're going to break on time? I don't know what to do here.
Yeah. She's like, I'm not ready for a break.
I'm not ready.
It's actually early.
7:30. It's 7 o'clock. We take a break. It's fine. We'll take a break. Thank you.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
IBEW Local 697 electrical contractors bring the highest standard of electrical work to Lake County homes, schools, and businesses. From everyday fixes to once-in-a-lifetime builds, we don't just get the job done, we get it done right and up to the highest safety standards. When you need electrical work, hire the professionals who power Indiana. Powering Indiana, Lake County, bringing excellence to the job, creating a brighter future for our community.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
Ogren Insurance, Hammond's oldest family-owned independent insurance agency, now in its third generation providing clients in the Chicago area with products from quality insurance companies to handle your every need. Regardless of driving history, Ogren Insurance can find the right coverage for you at competitive prices. To learn more about the insurance solutions and services we offer throughout Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or visit our website, ogreninsurance.com. We're located at 6929 Homan Avenue in Hammond, Indiana. Do business locally with someone you know and trust.
It's 7:02 in the region. It's a beautiful Monday morning here at WJOB. We're going to take a look at traffic and weather. Traffic's good. Traffic's really good. Traffic's looking good here in Indiana.
Traffic's good because nobody can buy gas.
Because oil is $103 a barrel. And maybe they're all in gas lines. Maybe they're all waiting to get gas like it's the 70s all over again. They're all waiting for gas. But traffic looking fantastic. Now, even the Bishop Ford, the Dan Ryan looking good. Little slow down Dan Ryan on into the circle. Other than that, things looking just fantastic on the area roads. Lynette, how's the weather?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 47 degrees with highs of 71 and lows of 51. It's going to be breezy this morning, otherwise mostly sunny and warmer. Then tomorrow on Tuesday, we'll be having highs of 57 and lows of 41 with some sun, then turning cloudy with a couple of showers. And then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 47 and lows of 28. Should be windy and cooler with periods of rain and a thunderstorm.
We changed the name of the show to Mission Accomplished Mondays with Bob and Chuck and Lynette. Because mission accomplished.
Lynette's like, don't include me in this
I
show.
want no part of this. Mission accomplished. Ayatollah Khomeini has been replaced
with
Ayatollah Khomeini. The new Ayatollah Khomeini, who many say is more hardline than the previous Ayatollah Khomeini. Oil is hovering around $103 per barrel, which is the highest it's been in like 4 years.
We need to bring Lynette's sound machine back.
The S&P is currently down 1% in pre-market. In short, mission accomplished, and
thank you for that.
No problem.
Are you going to?
So thank you to everyone.
So for those of you that watch, I keep the laptop up here, and we've got, I mentioned earlier, the debt clock, the Dow Jones. My two current Google tabs open is the last caller talked about Patton, and as we all know, Patton was assassinated because he was going to start outing military-industrial complex secrets and potentially run for president.
Who else did that happen to? Well, yeah, go ahead.
Those guys. And the other one was which words are not allowed on the radio for FCC.
We're good, though. Carlin had a bit about that, the 7 words.
The 7 dirty words. But on here, evidently crap is a borderline word.
Well, right. There's a whole thing about.
I mean, the world is quite literally going to.
Well, I'm not going to say it. You just said
heck.
it. You put it in quotes. It's part of a news story.
Yeah. Anyways, it's just some goofy words that you can't say, but then other words you can say that's okay. And then I want to know. I've never seen here. I'll say in quotes. The B word is like the line of demarcation. Any word that is stronger is not allowed. And I've never seen a list that delineates the strength of various curse words.
Yeah, they mention it in the Howard Stern movie. So if you're ever curious about that list, you can.
Oh, who would watch that?
Yeah, no, but I memorized it from that movie.
Can't say that word either.
So I know what I can't say. Do we have phone calls?
We do.
We do? Why don't we do that? So good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, man.
Good morning, sir.
What's a good word?
Matlock. Last week, during one of your 47 calls, when the subject is not Trump bad, you brought up Jesse Jackson Jr. when you reminded us of the 3-week funeral how great Jesse Jackson was, that you were part of his inner circle, shook his hand many times. You brought up Jesse Jackson Jr. and said that when Jr. was in office, some things happened. Again, you didn't say Jesse Jackson Jr. was a thief.
Well, and I mentioned
so you have
it,
a little problem with that.
But here's what I said earlier, if you weren't listening. I said, look, I met the guy when he was early on in his career. I liked him. I had high hopes for him. And, again, if anybody's going to steal money and buy fur coats with it, why not be him? I mean, again, it's not like Chicago has a good track record of electing honest politicians. So, again, if anybody's going to get the job, and might as well be him. Why not? But again, so let me go back. I did try to go to the Jesse Jackson, the wake. There was a line down the block. I had worked with him. I had done some work for them, and I had met him. I shook his hand as well. And I look at it this. I posted this on Facebook last week. I said, look, I didn't agree with a lot of what he had to say, but he also was a historical figure in this country and, something to be acknowledged. He ran for president. He marched with Dr. King. So again, to me, I met the man. I looked into his eyes. I thought to myself, whenever I looked into his eyes, I thought, the things that man's eyes have seen, right? I mean, again, you don't have to like the guy to acknowledge his importance for history. And, I was there for his retirement party and they talked a lot about his contributions and you have to at least acknowledge that. So that's my part.
Chuck,
go ahead. Tell me where I'm wrong.
The point of this, no, you're not wrong.
Thank you.
That's your personal experience. The point of this is Matlock seems to skim or skip over the fact that he brought up Jesse Jackson Jr. and some things happened. Jesse Jackson Jr. was a thief, Matlock, in case you forgot.
Well, there's people of Chicago forgot because he's going to win re-election. But that's what we do. That's what they do in Chicago. Go ahead.
The other part of this is, did you think Frank Mervan was good when he started?
Rhetorically, right? You're not asking me. I don't want to answer. I plead the fifth.
Well, and here's Dave Gehrman. And this goes out to anybody that wants to respond, whether it's you two or Dave Gehrman or Matlock. How do the Democrats refuse to stand when the president says our responsibility first and foremost is to protect U.S. citizens, not illegals? And Dave Gehrman, you have the audacity to have some cheesy photo where you're just prepped your hair like a third grader for class photos and stand between Hakeem Jeffries and Frank Mervan when they could not stand for that simple statement? Does that make sense to anyone?
Politics are very divisive, or is it divisive in this country? And it's unfortunate that we are at that place. But that's what's to be expected, right? I mean, the fact that anybody expects anything less is what's the most surprising to me. Because, again, I've seen this dog and pony show my entire life.
Is there a reason why anybody would not believe that our mission, first and foremost, is to protect U.S. citizens?
in the camp of rhetorical, some of these.
No, I wanted to let that silence just kind of fester for another second.
You're letting it.
Because if you're asking me honestly, do I believe my Congress gives a damn about me and my family? No, I don't. I think they care about their family and buying more Palantir stock.
The point is they are put in place to protect our interests as U.S. citizens, and their weight is not to protect illegals and everything coming into this country by the illegals. Signing off because I know show's over at 2:30, Kev. I have two new vocabulary words for Liam.
Yeah.
Mr. Starkey.
Yeah, what you got?
Just don't repeat them in school. Go ahead.
Purble. Purble is the first one.
Purble?
And turfs.
Okay.
Yeah, the situation is terrible, and these turfs that the president has put in place, and Matlock can help you with the spelling on those.
Okay, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. I want to go ahead and I want to play this clip This was Jesse Jackson Jr., I believe, yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and cue this up, and I want to play this.
And then we can do all the Jesse Jackson clips where him and Trump are buddies through the 90s.
I listened for several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson. He maintained a tense relationship with the political order, not because the presidents were white or black, but the demands of our message, the demands of speaking for the least of these, those who were disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected, demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent, prophetic voice that at no point in time ever sold us out as a people. And it speaks volumes about who the Reverend Jesse Jackson was. Yesterday.
So that's what he had to say about that. He, before the funeral, said, don't bring politics to the funeral. Politicians are going to politic. They brought politics to the funeral. And then yesterday he said, why did you bring politics? Here's the thing. I think to be safe, I'm going to allow one politician to my funeral. Only one.
Okay. Who's that?
I'm only going to allow one politician at my funeral.
Oh, am I the politician?
You are the only one. But your job is to not let any other politician through the door. How about that?
I will take a toll at the door, and none of them will pay.
You're going to guard libertarian tax.
Yeah.
But so...
I think you got a smirk out of Lynette over there.
She's talking about my funeral. She's like, she's smiling.
Finally,
I'm going to...
Finally, we can get back. Damerton can have 2 days a week.
But anyway, so Isaiah Thomas came out and acknowledged the 5 presidents in the room, the 5 presidents being the 3 actual presidents, and then, of course, Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris.
Well, had the elections not been stolen from them.
So this is the
where were the 80 million people when it came time to vote for them?
Well, here's what I thought of when I thought.
Must have been a
you know what
busy day in
I
Georgia.
wondered? I wondered about Isaiah Thomas. In his at any point in the last few years, has he ever stopped and thought to himself, of all of the what did Joe Biden say? He's like, I stutter, but I'm smarter than all of you in the good job, Joe. He said he was smarter than everybody in the room at a funeral. And at no point would somebody
that wasn't the real Joe Biden though.
Well, was it
he was replaced
the
in
reptile?
2019.
If you're gonna, why don't you put the mic over here? If you're gonna look towards, because you're pointing this way, and so.
Do you like that better?
Yeah, you're off axis. At any point in Isaiah in the last few years, did Isaiah Thomas think to himself, of all of these people, like when he was looking at the presidents, a huge honor to stand in front of former presidents. Of all of the people, Joe Biden received the most votes of all of these people, 81 million votes. At no point did he say.
Never will I believe that.
At any
Never.
point did he say, "Wait
Never.
a second"? Do you think that thought has ever crossed his mind? That he looked at those and said, "Of all of the people, of all of those people on that row at the funeral, Joe."
5 callers. They're all like, "Oh, do you believe that Trump won the election or lost the election?"
Joe Biden.
Never will I believe Joe
of
Biden
that
got
group,
80 million legitimate
81
votes.
million votes.
Never in a million years.
But you're not
more than
allowed-
Obama.
But if Trump says it,
Orange Man bad more than Kamala.
right? So again,
Busy day in Georgia, I guess.
come on, has that thought ever crossed his mind? He said, "Really, of all of these people, Joe Biden got the most votes while he was on the south side of Chicago." Probably not. Let's take some calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, I'm going to second Dave from Crown Point on the spelling words. I'd like to suggest egg a muffin, and you can get that spelling from Matlock. He'll help you with that one too.
How was Taste of the Region, by the way?
You guys are killing me.
Let's talk about that.
Hey, first of all, thanks for all the help with the event on Friday at Taste of the Region.
It literally was a sellout from what the rumor was. The place was packed. It was a great event. It was fantastic. So thanks so much for that help.
No, that was very nice.
Thank you guys enough.
I was looking at the program. They thanked Jim Dietlow, Alexis. They thanked Bob Starkey, Chuck Pullen, and Tom Daberston. Thank you, Tom Daberston.
Okay, easy, Johnny Spelling Man. Okay.
No, I like that. I'm going to call
Liam was in charge of editing the program.
Tom
so that's Liam's
Daberston.
fault.
Close enough. Wednesdays with Daberston. Go ahead. I kid.
But I just got two things real quick. I don't understand why Triple J, Jesse Jackson Jr., the convicted felon running for office in Illinois, why he didn't wear the Elvis suit he stole from his constituents at the funeral. He would have looked fantastic on it. You know, particularly with the how much Ozempic do you think that guy put through his little body?
Is he convicted?
To go from 450 down to 98.
You bring up a good point, though. Was he convicted? So
that's how you know that I'm not on it, because I'm not super skinny.
So I'm curious, though.
Did he take his skinny Elvis suit?
He looks smaller than Liam.
So he pled guilty to felony charges of conspiracy to defraud his campaign, tax evasion, which isn't actually a crime, and misuse of campaign funds. Which, I mean, you gave him the money.
And his wife.
Yeah, didn't they do some staggered?
She served 12 months.
Jail time.
She served 12 months for a related tax crime, which isn't a crime. I think the crime is paying your taxes at this point. With staggered sentence. So they got her. They got them for the same thing they got Al Capone on. It's like, we can't get you anything else. We'll get you on tax evasion, as I like to say, which isn't really a crime.
And then they got the wife too. So they took turns while their dopey kids were running around doing God only knows what.
But so you can run for Congress as a convicted felon, or did he have to get that expunged? That's an interesting question. I thought you couldn't run for federal office.
Who knows?
Let me Google
Kamala
it.
Harris will get it taken care of. Hey, my other question is, I did not know that Jesse Jackson was such an advocate of pro-life, because he had his 4 kids there, and it turned out the other 4 kids he fathered across the country while he was confiscating Budweiser distributors for his kids, they were allowed to come to the events, but guess what they did? They told the mothers, don't even get near the place. So as much as Jesse Jackson loved fathering kids across the country, he said, yeah, you moms, you can't show up. The kids can come because we're kind of like a little related to them.
Like half.
But the trampy women he slept with to father them, you guys can't come. That came right out of the Jesse Jackson camp. So, hey, Matlock, if you got 2 seconds, call in. Tell us how to spell
okay, come on.
And
save it for Fridays.
And tell us why the women weren't invited. Okay.
Okay,
I'm out.
Thank you. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. So yes, a convicted felon can run for federal office. That basically there are some states that restrict felons from running. These do not apply to federal positions. So our founding fathers, in their infinite wisdom, never thought that there would be a scenario where a convicted felon would try to run for Congress and anyone would vote for them.
Oh, now we're going to get 14 calls about, Trump's a felon.
Well, and okay, valid point there. So,
got one.
Right. But that becomes
720 here in the region.
The founding fathers never once thought, hey, do we need to mention it? Like, no convicted felon's going to run for office. It doesn't need to be mentioned. We don't need to waste parchment on that. So they got one wrong. So, but why don't we take a break? It's 7:20 here in the region. We're here for another hour-ish or so, or maybe Jed will walk in and kick us out. I don't really.
No, he's not allowed to do that anymore.
He's not allowed to do that? Okay. Well, I was going to change the code on the combination lock, and we can change it back afterwards. But let's take a break. We'll be back with more Discontented Chuck, mission accomplished on a Monday after this.
When your home needs help, the last thing you need is a faceless corporation or sales-driven franchise. At Myers Companies, we've been proudly local since 1951, born and raised right here in Northwest Indiana. We're family-owned and operated, built on trust, hard work, and integrity. And because we're family, we treat you like family. Your comfort and safety always come first. For HVAC, plumbing, and electrical done right, choose Myers Companies. Local, family-owned, here for your family.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Open 7 days a week in 4 convenient locations: Highland, Griffith, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, air freshener, and a towel with every wash. It's fast, safe, and gentle. For more information and hours of all our locations, visit myeasyclean.com. Also, see how you can wash your car daily with our $10 Ultimate Wash for only $19.99 per month. Give your car the best clean at Easy Clean Car Wash.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
It's gold rush time at Albert's. Oh, looky here! Oh, those are gonna fetch a pretty penny.
But who's gonna buy them from us?
I'll buy that gold from you.
What did you say?
I said I'll buy that gold from you, and I'll give you top dollar.
That sounds great.
It's gold rush time. We will see you at Albert's.
Our lawyers have reached out into the YouTube chat room and suggested that we apologize for the last 80 minutes or so. I'd like to proactively apologize for the next 80 minutes while we're here.
That should be the 15-minute bit at the end of every show, is just apologize.
That was what The View would do. They would spend the first segment saying things about Donald Trump, and then they'd immediately come back from break and say, our lawyers have told us to apologize for everything that we just said in that segment. None of it was true, because they knew that everybody would tune out after that.
Yeah.
So, but again, that's how it works. You can say whatever you want, just as long as you apologize on the back end. So I apologize for the last 80 minutes, and I apologize for the next 80 minutes. And I apologize for next Monday and the following Monday. Mission accomplished. Can I use my... I'm just keep using my joke every segment.
I want to know what other clips you have lined up, and I would like to say how brave you are for connecting your phone to the board via Bluetooth, and just at any point, whatever you've been watching can play.
No, I put it on Do Not Disturb. But, well, here's let me just pick a random clip.
Welcome to Monday morning.
Hang on, here we go. Okay, so hang on. So let's do the whole setup again. So mission accomplished. We managed to successfully blow up Ayatollah Khomeini. He's been replaced.
By who?
By Ayatollah Khomeini. By all accounts, that Ayatollah, a hardliner, more hardline than his father. Oil's $103 a barrel. The S&P's down 1% in pre-market. Is it 2% yet? Okay, I'm just going to randomly click on a clip here. Let's see.
Saying that bin Laden's a CIA asset and looks like he'll attack New York. Saying, call Washington. Tell them to call off the attack.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad that you could join us today for this Wednesday, July 25th, 2001 broadcast. Tyranny is enveloping the globe. And
okay, that's I don't even know. I don't think there's any curses in that. But so there was Alex Jones in July of 2001 going, hey, New York's going to get attacked. Probably the World Trade Centers are going to get attacked. Maybe the Pentagon, etc. You know why? I mean, he was not prophetic. He was not a Nostradamus. He just knew his history. He said, "I know my history. I know my American history," and this feels like the summer of 2001 to me at this point. It really does. And I always say, nobody wants Chuck to be. I'm talking in the third person now. Nobody wants Chuck to be wrong.
That's how we know you've gone around the bend.
Nobody wants Chuck Pullen to be wrong more than Chuck Pullen. But it feels like the summer of 2001 at this point. And that's what scares me. And again, I'm just going to keep reiterating, having a son that's about to turn 18, knowing what we're in the middle of terrifies me. I honestly, I would not be surprised if the day comes that I'm hiding him in my trunk and driving him to Canada because of the decisions that we're making today. I hope I'm wrong. But if history has taught me anything, it's that when you tune in on Mondays to Mission Accomplished Mondays, we usually are not wrong. because we know our history. And we have the smartest callers on radio.
And let's go to those.
And I have the smartest co-host.
Well,
Mondays.
that's just understood.
And the smartest producer.
Well,
at WJLA.
that's just understood.
Let's take some calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, again. I just think that when sometimes that Walt, what he and Donald Trump have in common, they both lie. Okay, I talked about Jesse Jackson. I never met Jesse Jr. and he basically committed crime. Then he need to pay, and which I guess he did. He went to prison.
He and his wife both went to prison. Correct. That's right. So the question becomes, should that disqualify him from running? Or, I mean, again, like I said, I like the guy. I met him early on in his career. I thought he was an up-and-comer.
I think he should be disqualified from running. But I don't make the rules. Trump is aware of what's going on. Why don't he say something? What about Blagojevich? Blagojevich, did Donald Trump give him a pardon? I believe he did. Did Blagojevich give him a pardon? He might be running again. Are you there?
Well,
now you don't get so quiet you can hear mice spitting
I was
outside.
just thinking, remember how all that worked out with Blagojevich, and I've got this thing
he gave
that's
him a
effing.
pardon.
But I mean, but I've got this thing. It's effing golden. Pritzker. He was talking to Pritzker about President Obama. I mean, think about just that Chicago machine.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why he gave him a pardon. Maybe you don't know. I'm gonna tell you why he gave him a pardon. Because he feels that Blagojevich was treated wrong, and Blagojevich tried to sell Obama's seat in the Senate. Am I right or wrong?
You were right.
Okay, allegedly.
No, I don't know if it's allegedly. We had him on tape. Effing golden.
Okay, so that's what. So I'm just simply saying right now, Trump, some of the biggest crooks in the world. What about the Adams in New York City? Did he give a pardon? I believe he gave the mayor of New York City a pardon, right?
Right.
Adams. His name was Adams.
I mean, and then what did Biden do? He gave a whole bunch of proactive pardons. Biden gave proactive pardons. But I'm saying they both do it. Can we acknowledge that they both do it? Both sides do these things.
Donald Trump is the president of the United States. I don't want, every time he gets up there, he talks about what Biden did do. Well, you're the president of the United States. You were against wars. I want to correct people when they say something. Like Walt would come out and say, well, that's not what I said. I never met Jesse Jackson Jr. His family, Jesse Jr. is basically he did wrong, and he may have been given a pardon by Trump. I wouldn't doubt it if he did.
No, I think he served time, and then but he had some mental health issues.
But again, sometimes the rules, we apply the rules depends on who we like and who we don't like. Okay, and I understand that, and so I'm just simply saying now, MX, no, we came up through the same union. We were one. Don Lutz and all those guys were my friends. And I said one time when I hired into Owens Field that I hired into a mold foundry that was basically all blacks. It was a terrible place to work, a mold foundry. Matter of fact, the company is probably going to be compensating me some money. They end up shutting it down because I became in the grievance procedure MX. And MX, you could call me. I could tell you that. You got my number. I'm sure you got my number, MX. I could tell you. And MX thought it was racist in saying that was a good place to work. A mobile foundry, an open heart.
Okay, before we go, we got to take a break, but I want to ask you about this. What Jesse Jackson Jr. said. He said that his father had an adversarial relationship with both Democrats, Republican, white and black, because he felt that both parties turned their backs on his people. I mean, do you feel the same way? That if you've ever been to Rainbow Push, Barack Obama's house is right around the corner, like literally around the corner from there. A guy from the neighborhood got elected, and then he turned his back on the neighborhood. And that's what I can't even say what they caught Jesse Jackson saying about Barack Obama one time on a hot mic. That was his opinion.
That was a good one.
I can't say it, but that was his opinion.
That was not nice. and that's why
That's a sound clip we need.
That's why
But
that was not nice.
Michelle.
Go ahead.
That's why Michelle didn't attend that affair too. Have you noticed that?
I noticed
Michelle
that.
didn't attend that affair.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I also, and I know there was some things said about Barack Obama by Jesse Jackson, but apparently they let that go. And Michelle is the kind of person, she didn't attend the inauguration of Donald Trump, but Barack Obama did because she didn't like the way.
No, you know why she didn't go, honestly? Because President Bush wasn't there. No, she wasn't there. She only shows up if President Bush is there, and they sit next to each other and they hang out.
Yeah.
That's the only reason she goes to that stuff.
Yeah.
She wants to hang out with President Bush.
The Bushes, the Bushes and Obamas and Clinton are good friends. They Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah.
Which should tell you a lot.
Let's get away from this, Walt. And I don't need to respond to anything that you say, because what you say, you're a liar, just like Donald Trump.
Okay, see, we were going so well. Okay. We do need to take a break, Ron, so I appreciate the follow-up call. You have a nice day. I was thinking of clips as he was talking. I was like, I should play the George Carlin clip, but maybe for my last show, I'll play the big club. There's no way to play the big club bit on the radio, but that's what comes to my mind. Someday I'll do that. We'll find a way to play that on the radio. Just be silence, big club, and that'll be the clip. Let's take a break.
Another break?
It's 7:30. We've got your phone calls. I know the time just flies when we're doing Mission Accomplished Mondays here on WGOB. So let's take a break and take some phone calls. We'll be back with more after this.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
Planting a tree, installing a fence, whether your project is big or small, NIPSCO reminds you to know what's below and contact 811 at least 2 full business days before doing any digging so that utility companies can mark the location of their underground lines. Contacting 811 is free and it's the law. Avoid possible penalties, costly repairs, or injuries. DIY or a pro, safety is in your hands. Every dig, every time.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
You ready?
Oh, I'm ready. She gave us the high five.
Right. I was waiting for you to hook up your microphone because that's an important part of radio.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Look at that.
His gain structure is a little hot. Can you turn him down just a touch? His gain is. I don't know if you can adjust
My gains.
Your gains. He's got massive gains. Let's take a look at traffic. It's been a quiet morning because nobody can afford gas at $103 a barrel. Here in Indiana, 809465, everything looking good. Illinois, Skyway Toll Road, everything looking good there. You got a little slowdown, Bishopport into the Dan Ryan. Dan Ryan on in, getting a little heavy. Other than that, things looking good on the roadways. If you see anything, 219-845, 1100. How are things in the weather?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 47 degrees with highs of 71 and lows of 51. It's going to be breezy this morning, otherwise mostly sunny and warmer. And then tomorrow on Tuesday we'll be having highs of 57 and lows of 41 with some sun, then turning cloudy with a couple of showers. Then Wednesday we'll be having highs of 47 and lows of 28. Should be windy and cooler with periods of rain and a thunderstorm.
At least it's nice out. We got that going for us.
So I have a question here.
Now, are you muted?
Am I muted?
Yeah.
No, he's just too far away
He's
from his
too-
mic.
I can hear myself.
Okay. Go ahead.
So the national debt clock here,
Right.
the debt per taxpayer
Yeah.
is $356,000.
Yeah.
Yet the debt per citizen is $113,000.
Yeah.
So why are not all citizens taxpayers?
We were talking earlier about child labor laws. So, yeah.
So you're telling me 2/3 of the population are children?
No. So, I wonder if Stan's listening this morning because he loves this topic and he'll send me a message if he is.
Hey, Stan.
No, it's because we are upside down. We have created, and here, I'll Google it
Are
real
we
quick.
in the upside down?
We are. It feels like it some days. Can you Google real quick how many people are paying into Social Security versus how many? I think it's like we went from 8 people paying in for every person on Social Security. Now we're down to like 3 or 4. Does that sound right? So how many people pay in versus who gets payouts of the Social Security system? It used to be like 8-1. Now I think it's like 3-1 or 4-1. See if you can find that. Just interrupt me whenever you find it. So you want to take some calls on that? Why don't we do that? Because I know there's lots of people anxiously wanting to speak to us this morning. So let's take some calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. How you doing?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You know, Sam Michael, you still got time, brother. You still got time. I just need one conservative program. Man,
Bob's sitting right here. Come on.
yeah, but I think sometimes he gets hand-struck by these overbearing liberals that you got hanging around. But, I'm going to start just basically bringing people to reality. I just want to call it people who have a sense of history that just totally got erased,
Right.
even locally. And I could start local, I could go national, I could slap all these guys around it, give you business about when Bob was trying to point out about the funeral, about the request to keep the politics out of it, and quite naturally all the people missed the point, especially the leftists of the world, because the point was no politics, no politics. And as usual, the Democrats, the liberal Democrats, the Marxists, the socialists, the people that overtook my party, the real liberal, they see every single opportunity as political. Everything. Everything in life. You mentioned the ad on WJOB. That's a political angle for the criticism. That's how it works. No doubt, I don't know the details, but I bet you 10-1 that man that owns that business in the city of East Chicago, I bet you he said something that somebody on these airways did not like, so they hold it. They hold it for months and or years. And then when it's time to pounce, they pounce. That's why the mayor of the city of Hammond has such trouble with it in the city of Gary. He says something years ago. How dare you say something against, quote unquote, our children? How dare you go against Barack Obama in the primary? We're going to get you forever. That's the way they roll, bro. Don't you remember Paul Wellstone in the city of Minnesota at his funeral? The Democrats couldn't help themselves. They had to make that political. Everything they do is political. I talk to political people on these airways. This gentleman, I won't mention his name, he held many elected offices in this county. He told me everything I do is political. Everything. He said it on these airways. Everything he does is political. Believe them. See, that's why your average good human being doesn't comprehend the way they roll. That's exactly where they roll. You know, it was brought up a couple days ago. Oh, I'm not going to talk about someone when you're laid to rest until they're laid to rest. That's how I was brought up. But the political class, they don't care. And Bob, again, was trying to point that out, and everybody passed it up. They didn't want to bite. They didn't have the intellectual honesty to say they're all wrong. They run their mouth for nothing, and they're just low-down scoundrels. That's all they are. And then when you point it out, you're the bad guy. Now let's go local. All of these Gary individuals have all this knowledge. Why don't you worry about your mayor sending his kids to Chesterton schools? Remember, silence, crickets, cricket, cricket. Why don't you worry about, all you woke people in the city of Gary, you're the wokest on this county. Why is it you do not have curbside recycling? It's since you love the environment.
I didn't know that. Does they go to Chesterton?
I'm just going to say allegedly.
Yes, they do.
I'm just going to say allegedly. Not that I disagree, but I just say allegedly, out of just.
Well, the mother of the children, she's on the social media stating it. So unless her posts are incorrect,
can I tell you something? Can I digress for a second? You know what's funny? On the way in this morning, we were playing a flashback that just brought a smile to my face. You know who was on? It was Preacher, Big George, and Gloria calling in.
Right.
They were talking about the Philpott scandal. They were talking about the machine gun scandal. They were talking about the
good old days.
The Visitors Authority scandal. I was like, man, we've come a long way. That we're not.
Right, we've come a long way,
every time I listen to one of those clips, I miss Indictment Friday. You know what I mean?
But see, the thing is, Gloria, and God rest her soul, she would slap them around. She didn't care. See, people, even Didlo missed the point when she said she's not political. Her point was she's was knowledgeable of politics, but she didn't get into I'm in love with you no matter what you do. You see what I'm saying? If you do wrong, i.e. Clinton, and i.e. what he did, she wasn't down for that. Here, this is an elderly lady living in the city of Gary, admitted categorically the first person she voted for in the city of Gary was Richard Gordon Hatcher. She moved to the city of Gary in 1957. She was a supporter of his, but she admitted it. But she didn't hide anything. But she said, if you do wrong, you're no good. But she also said, if I'm with you, I'm with you. She said on these airways, it's like the mafia. Once you're in, you're in. But if you do wrong in her eyes, she's going to bust you on it. And I respect that. But what I can't respect, and I hear it all the time, these people who I love Gary. I love Gary. Everything Gary. But then it used to be, okay, I do too. But then you used to have a mayor that would send their children to Gary public schools, would do everything within the city of Gary locally. But then you had a mayor who they just named a street after him. His last kid, he sent to Valpo. So my point is, I love Gary, love Gary, love Gary, love Gary, until I don't. And it's so frustrating. It's constant on these airways where people forget history. Again, you forget history. But some of us remember. I don't call all these guys out. I also don't call out. It's mighty funny. I call them the Miller Brigade. Miller, the area of Gary where you got weak, miserable women and weak men. That's what it is. Miserable women. They don't have children.
Okay, well, that's a good place to leave it. We got to take a break. I appreciate your call.
This is the hour of breaks.
That's how radio works. I know we're not used to taking breaks at the schedule. I'm trying to be good about that. So thank you for the call. Okay, let's just make sure. So I was saying, we were talking about this earlier. So recent data says that approximately 2.7 to 2.8 workers are paying in a Social Security system for every person receiving benefits. This ratio has declined since the 70s. It's projected to fall to roughly 2.3 workers per retiree by 2034. That basically says that for every two people paying into Social Security, one person is taking out. You have an upside down system. And as I've always said, Bernie Madoff went to jail for the same pyramid scheme that we call a Social Security system that we know is declining. We know is going to eventually go insolvent. But how dare you question Social Security. I paid into that. Rabble, rabble, rabble. How dare you try to fix it? Rabble, rabble, rabble.
We got to put it in a lockbox.
Put it in a lockbox. So let's take a break. We'll be back with more after this.
Before Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, we were being charged various maintenance fees and various check writing fees for all of our accounts. And with Notre Dame, we don't have that. We have that true community partnership. We get interest based on all of our parish and school accounts, and the interest rate is really second to none.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
Fishing for a seafood meal without the stress or mess of cooking? Leave the work to the Strachan Van Til Seafood Department. For just $1 extra per pound, we'll fry, grill, or steam your fish with your choice of 3 kinds of breading. Try our fish and seafood dinners. Each includes a half pound each of seafood and fries, and a quarter pound of coleslaw. Want the freshest catch in town? Reel in the fish and seafood selections from your local Strachan Van Til.
7:48 in the region. I was just chided by my producer. She said, "You're taking too many breaks. You're taking break." I said, "Lynette, I'm trying to catch my breath. I need to take a break. I need to catch my breath. I need my blood pressure to go back down to normal. I'm seeing stars." No, that's you guys. I'm seeing Bob and Lynette. No, I'm seeing stars. Yeah. No, I need to take a break. I started a new blood pressure medication, and I don't think it's working. Taking beetroot and whatnot. I'm taking all kinds of stuff. I'm like, dude, something. I need
what are you taking?
Beetroots and bark and beets and I don't know. I mean, greens, and I'm trying to something so I don't die here on the air. And then a bunch of politicians show up at my funeral. I'm not even going to tell you guys where I'm buried. They're going to be like, "Where's the funeral?" Like Amy's like, he said not to tell you guys. It's a private ceremony. You know what I told her? We were talking about this the other day. People have like private ceremony stuff. I said, "You know what I want you to do? Did you know this is a thing? I want to be cremated and put into fireworks. I want to be in a fireworks show. How about that? Then I can rain down on the region one last time."
Hallelujah, it's raining Chuck.
It's raining Chuck. You make an AI song to play at my funeral. But I want to be cremated and put into fireworks and blown up over the region. Maybe over the Bears Stadium. That would be perfect. At the Bears Super Bowl, like these fireworks provided by Chuck Pullen. We killed him and put him in fireworks.
I would like to be cremated, but there is a version of that story where I'm not. And, they get the kneeler, for some folks you kneel in front of it.
Yeah.
I want a lift system. So as I'm laying there and someone kneels, my body raises up.
No,
I think that would be
I
very
changed my
humorous.
mind. I want 6 politicians at my funeral. You know why?
Why?
Because I want you guys to carry me and let me down one more time.
Aww. There you go.
I want 6 politicians to carry my body and let me down.
I don't know how we can continue with the show.
Man, she's right on
it. We peaked at 7:50 here in the region. On
WJOB. We
WJOB.
peaked so long ago.
That was really good. I appreciated that.
Yeah, she's good. She does good work. I'm glad you're here. She not so much, but I'm glad you're here. You have phone calls?
We have one.
Why don't we take a break?
Hey, when's your boy T-Dab coming back in?
I think she's
texting
at the end of this
right
month.
now. She's
texting
like, I miss you so much.
Come
I think
here.
he's coming back at the end of this month.
Okay. Glad to hear it.
Take some calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Jesse Jackson Jr. is currently collecting $138,000 a year on a disability pension for mental issues. And they asked him, well, if you win re-election or when you're running for office now, if you win, will you give that up? He said, oh, yeah, I'll give it up. Well, what about if you lose? Oh, no, I'm going to stay on it. Now, how does that work? $138,000 a year for a convicted criminal like him.
So, I mean, this is one of those things where I'm so torn because part of me wants to say, I blame them, but I also realistically I blame us. There's an old saying: "Don't hate the player, hate the game." Like we allow this to happen. We allow this to happen. And I was talking to somebody the other day. They were asking about how I said it reminds me of that Henry Ford quote where he said, "If you understood the banking system, you would riot in the streets tomorrow." I said, "If you understood what was going on in Washington, you would riot, and you would all come together. We would all come together, put our differences aside, and we'd riot in Washington. But we don't know what's going on, and that's by design." So again, it's like I can't hate the player. I hate the game, and I wish we would have the courage to change the game, but we don't.
The other thing is, ask Ron Matlock if he thinks, or he still thinks that idiot that's running Chicago is still doing such a great job. The guy couldn't run a lemonade stand, let alone the third largest city in the country. You know, how does somebody that couldn't pay his water bill control a multi-billion-dollar budget? I don't get it.
Well, I mean, I say the same thing about Mamdani, but I mean, the same thing, you know, like I couldn't imagine, what is he, like 31? I couldn't imagine, you know, being like on a town council at 31, let alone running the largest. I mean, good for him for having the chutzpah, for saying I'm 31 years old and I can.
I don't think he wants chutzpah.
I don't think he does, but kudos to him for thinking he can run the largest city in this country. At least, like,
for thinking he can.
For thinking, I mean, right. For thinking he can run it, and for thinking everything's going to be free in the process. And then 2 weeks later it goes, never mind, I finally looked at the budget. We are in a bad place. I can't say. But I mean, kudos to him for convincing everybody to vote for him, right? I mean, I don't hate the player. He convinced them. Good for him. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Anybody can get elected by promising free stuff that you know you can't deliver.
But we buy
I mean,
we buy it every time, though. We get sucked into it. Did you remember those man on the streets? They're asking people. They're like, how, you know, they're like, we want free buses. Like, well, who's going to pay for it? It's like, no, it's free. Like, well, who's paying for it? Like, no, it's free. Like, these are the people that voted for him. And it's like, wait, what do you mean? It's free. Like, no, somebody has to pay the $1 billion a year to keep the system running and to pay the bus drivers and to pay for the, but like, no, you don't understand. It's free. Like, these are the people that are voting. So what can you do?
Well, my last comment is, could you please restrict Ron to calling in on just the socialist hour on Tuesday mornings with the other
the social happy hour?
Yes. Really, the guy's rhetoric is getting tiring. I mean, he's, you know, pro Gary. I mean, you talk about servicemen getting killed overseas. How many people were killed in the city of Chicago over this weekend?
Probably
Anybody
more
know?
than 7. MX
right.
MX messaged me. MX keeps track of that. He has a bingo of how many people, which is unfortunate because that's the reality. As a journalist, that was the reality. Is we just looked at it as statistics. We stopped paying attention to the people that were, you know, being shot and their families, and nobody, just another number. So yeah, it's terrible, and we just ignore it. So,
all right,
but hey, I appreciate the call. Thank you for chiming in.
All right, man.
Have a great week. Enjoy the beautiful weather. We're going to take a break. Now, we got 5 more minutes, so go ahead. Let's take a call. Good morning, caller. You're on here.
Good morning, Chuck. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
So, Bob, is hell one of the words I can't say on the radio?
No, you can say that one.
Yeah, you're good.
That's a good one.
Okay. So when I woke up this morning, I turned you guys on. I said, what hell have I just fallen into here?
That's the name of our new show, Fresh Hell.
Dave from Lily White.
Go ahead, sir.
Dave from Lily White, Miller Beach, you know, explaining like geopolitics from the liberal perspective, and then Ron calling in twice. And then the last caller just asked him to call again. Could you please ask Ron? I mean, can we stop asking Ron to answer questions, people who are calling in? I mean, you're just egging him on to, like, call in more. But, Chuck, I know you're having, like, heart palpitations, but I need to ask you a question.
No, my eye's twitching now, which means my blood pressure's up. But go ahead.
Well, you were talking about Social Security, and you said comments about, like, well, you know, I paid into the system, I'm going to get it all out and stuff. And
no, you're no, don't misquote me. I know I'm not going to get it out. I know I'm not going to get what I paid into it out. That's not going to happen. But go ahead.
Well, I I actually signed up, and I should be getting my first Social Security payment next month.
You're welcome. The 2.3 of us in the room are supporting you. You're welcome.
I've had debates with people like, well, you should take a means test. You don't need it. Well, I don't know that you know that I need it or not, but you know what? I paid $300,000 into the system over my working life since the age I was 12 working, and I want that money back. It may not have been a written contract with the federal government, but it is an agreement with the federal government that I pay into it. So Jesse Jackson Jr. getting some $138,000 payment for his, psychological, disability. Strip that away from that bozo. I paid into the system, and so did hundreds of millions of other people paid into the system.
So here becomes the question. But here, let's look at it this way. Imagine instead of Social Security, you put money into like the bank, right? You put money in the bank since you were 12, and then when you go to take it out, they go, well, you're only going to get half of what you put in. And then you go, okay, well, where'd the other half go? Well, there's this other guy that never paid into the system in his life, but he needs it more than you do. So what we did is we took half of your money and we gave it to somebody else, right? I mean, that's
not what they did with the money, Chuck. That's not what they did with the money. They used the money to here's a good, honest answer about this. They took the money to pay off the people that they sexually harassed on Capitol Hill.
Right.
And they won't give you that. They won't give you that list. But they certainly wanted to try to embarrass Trump by putting out all the Epstein files, making some big deal about how he's mentioned 30,000 times in the Epstein files, not mentioning that those are accusations that haven't been proven at all. But they don't want to have their precious representative or their in their pocket politician be outed because they had to pay off somebody for grabbing their butt at a party, okay? I want all of that corruption and all that waste and fraud eliminated before they touch Social Security. And maybe it sounds pretty serving because I've now signed up for Social Security, but this should have happened a long time ago. They should have solved this issue a long time ago. Should it have been in a lockbox? I don't know about that. But if I had taken that same $300,000 and invested it over the course of my lifetime, I'd have $2-3 million now in an investment.
Well, okay, so I want to go on a rant. I want to go on a rant, but it is 8:00. You're listening to AM 1230, 104.7 FM in beautifully Hammond, Rustic, Indiana.
Am I getting the Ron Matlock?
No. I want to let you talk, and then I'm going to take a break and go on a rant. So why don't we? So I'm going to queue up a rant.
No, I don't have anything else to say. I just wanted to respond to you about your Social Security comment, and also wish you, calm down, dude. We like you. We don't want to see you have a heart attack on air. You are somebody we like to listen to. So try and get that.
Nicest thing I've heard all day.
Blood pressure under control.
Can you say that in his wife's voice? That might make him feel better.
No, it's funny. I was at the theater the other day, and then the performer came up and said, "You were very skillful and knowledgeable." And my wife just rolled her eyes, and I'm like, "See, this is what people appreciate that I step up and get stuff done." But because not a lot of people do that anymore. A lot of people just kind of I don't know, nothing I can do about it. And I'm the kind of guy that's well, let's fix it. So go ahead.
I was just going to share a joke, but I just realized I couldn't because it's, not. There's several words that probably fall in that 7-word.
Yeah,
ban.
we haven't set up the Mont swear jar here at the new studio yet, and you're not here to put money into it.
And I didn't really. Somebody claimed that I did the other day, but I didn't say the F-bomb.
Okay, well, that's good.
Although I did hear someone drop the F-bomb.
Yeah, that happens from time to time here, but we're a family radio station. What are you going to do? So, hey, I think we have to take a break. So,
Take care.
Mont, I always appreciate the call. Buddy. Why don't we'll take a break.
We're not taking a break.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Damn. That's fine.
It's only been 10 minutes.
You want
Voice
me
of God
You want me to go to 9 o'clock? I'll go to 9 o'clock. We'll do a Joe Rogan. We'll go 3 hours. Why not? Just go 3 hours without taking a break. How about that? I can do it. Let's see. We'll
Only
talk about
if for the last hour you do the voice of Alex Jones.
If you can do Joe Rogan. No, hang on. Well,
he was in break mode.
no, I'm in break. I'm ready. Because you got to think I'm queuing up the rant. But if you want me to do the rant, that's fine.
No.
So here's the thing.
Lord, we don't.
And tell me where I'm wrong on this. I was talking to somebody about this.
Ooh, real
the
quick.
other day.
Real quick.
Oh, we got to do traffic.
Well, there is a crash on 94 eastbound, but it's a little further out east. It's a county line road, and US 421, 94 eastbound. If you're heading out Michigan City, South Bend area, be on the lookout for that. That was my interjection. Other than that, Chicago looks like a mess. I'll let you take that, Chuck, because
Thank you.
I don't know those roads.
They're good. Little slow down Bishop Ford to the Dan Ryan out.
You just say that every single week.
Yeah, no, it's truth. Yeah, if it's something different, I'll say something different.
Okay. How's the weather at 8:02 here in the region on Chuck's Winter of Discontent?
It's the same as before. Probably shouldn't do weather in the middle of a segment.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, Bob, we're in the middle of a segment.
I'm sorry,
Bob.
it's 8:02. That's when we do this stuff. It's not my fault that Take a Break McGee over here has taken 14 of them since 7 o'clock.
The guy built a studio. Now he thinks he's a producer. I don't know.
Hi, everybody. Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Okay,
Mondays.
so what's your rant? Everybody wants to know what your rant is. You've been teasing it for a while.
No,
Lord knows what it could be.
This is a different one. So this is the thing. And I was explaining this to somebody last week. We have created a government that essentially rewards people for their failures. We essentially the worst, the bigger. See, and I was not ready for this rant. I was queuing it up. But okay, so the more bad decisions you make, the more the government rewards you for it. And so this is what happens to Mott's point. You put all this money into the system, and somebody who never paid into it gets out. As a responsible adult, like for me personally, I'm paying into Social Security knowing full well I'm probably not going to see much of my money. So I have to have a second retirement, like a third retirement, to put money aside for myself and or my family, because I know my government is, going to let me down. But that's the system that we've created, and that's the system we allow. To Mott's point, I think there should be a lockbox. I think that if somebody spends their whole life, not paying into the system, that they shouldn't go to retire and they go, oh yeah, here's a $500,000, and you paid $17 into the system your whole life, as opposed to Mott, who paid into it since he was 12, and most of you like me started paying into it when I was 15, and I will be lucky if I see a fraction of when I put into it. And that's the system we've created. I go back and mention my friend Henry, who paid into the system for 50 years. And then when he needed some Medicaid, they said, sorry, there's nothing for you. That's the system that we've created, and the system that we tolerate. That you go, well, there's no money for you because everybody in Congress is getting, $150,000 a year retirement. We have a Congress that exempts themselves from everything that they impart on you. So again, it's sort of like I was thinking the other day about when you talk about any country, a capitalist country, a socialist country, a communist country. Look at, like, you're talking about Cuba a lot. The richest family in Cuba is, guess who? Castro's heirs, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what system you have, what ism you have. The ruling class keep the money. Do you think that anybody in a communist country waits in bread lines? Do you think anybody in the Soviet Union or did Castro ever wait in the bread line? Did anybody? No, they did not. They took for themselves, and it's the same thing that happens in the Middle Eastern countries. They take for themselves. They build golden palaces for themselves while their people starve in the street and don't have sewers. They have all the best. That's the society. Your society is whatever you make it. And we have made it such that you are paying into a system and you are supporting all of this. And whether you want to say, the Epstein list or, Congress, insider trading, we have created this. And I always ask, so I always said, Bob, for a long time, I used to blame politicians. Again, you're always excluded from this because town council, you're not doing much insider trading at the town council, I don't think.
No.
But if you are, I hope you'd share on Mondays. we created this system. We allowed this to happen. And so for a long time, like I said earlier, don't hate the player, hate the game. We created this game. We allowed this game to be created because instead of us saying, us versus them, you guys call in and go, well, Ron this and Dave that. Like, no, we that's the problem is we always sit here and we blame each other while we're being played. And I don't know what it's going to take. And, even going back to this whole stadium debacle, I go back to the people that can't afford to go to the Bears game, that are worried about their sewers, worried about losing their homes. Like that's who, that's who I talk to. I'm not part of the political class. I don't go to the fancy luncheons and the ribbon cuttings. Speaking of, you got to talk about a ribbon cutting coming up.
We were going.
So we'll talk about that after the next break. But so, again, I don't want to be part of that class. I want to be part of the class of people that tells me, hey, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. And I meet those people every day and they reach out to me and I think about them all the time when we talk about these issues. I was talking about you guys to somebody yesterday. I was sitting down with somebody over lunch and I was telling them all about, they were telling me how great the Bears Stadium was. And I said, well, what about these people? What about the people that could lose their homes, that could be affected, the people that can't afford to go? What about them? And they said, well, I hadn't thought about that. Right. That's the problem. So we don't talk about them enough, right? We don't talk about the people that are barely scraping by, that can't afford to pay their NIPSCO bill. And you're telling them, well, we'll build you a stadium that you can't afford to go to. That's the people that I think about a lot. And I think the problem is that our Congress, that our leaders don't think about you guys. They don't think about us. They come home and they have meet and greets in town halls and they pretend, they act like they care about you, but then they go back to Washington and they do what's best for them and their party and they don't do what's best for you, right? You go and protest in front of NIPSCO and go, hey, we need help. And they go, sorry, nothing we can do. Okay. And then you always tell me there's going to be consequences. It's going to be different this time. And then you vote for the same people. And I go, okay, well, maybe consequences are coming later. I don't know. Go ahead. Can I take a break now? Why don't we take a break? Why don't we take a break and we'll have two nice 20-minute segments on the back end. So let's take a break. We'll be back with more after this.
When your home needs help, the last thing you need is a faceless corporation or sales-driven franchise. At Myers Companies, we've been proudly local since 1951, born and raised right here in Northwest Indiana. We're family-owned and operated, built on trust, hard work, and integrity. And because we're family, we treat you like family. Your comfort and safety always come first. For HVAC, plumbing, and electrical done right, choose Myers Companies. Local, family-owned, here for your family.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Open 7 days a week in 4 convenient locations: Highland, Griffith, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, air freshener, and a towel with every wash. It's fast, safe, and gentle. For more information and hours of all our locations, visit myeasyclean.com. Also, see how you can wash your car daily with our $10 Ultimate Wash for only $19.99 per month. Give your car the best clean at Easy Clean Car Wash.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 7-1, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 7-1, powering the region because we are the region.
It's gold rush time at Albert's. Oh, looky here! Oh, those are gonna fetch a pretty penny.
Who's gonna buy them from us?
I'll buy that gold from you.
What did you say?
I said I'll buy that gold from you, and I'll give you top dollar.
That sounds great.
It's gold rush time. We will see you at Albert's.
It's 8:10 in the region. Do we?
I like you've got an NPR feel about this.
I'm trying to ramp up. Do you want me to do traffic and weather or no? You tell me.
Yeah, but sure, let's do that.
Sure, let's do. Sure, yeah, no problem. Let's do that.
It's just a setup for her to yell at you again.
I was next thing you know, my wife's going to show up, and then that's.
No, she enjoys being away from you.
Right. No, she's listening. She. Okay. Traffic is surprisingly light this morning, probably because oil is $103 a barrel and you can't afford to drive to work, but that's probably not part of it. Or you're staying home to see the opening of the market in 20 minutes here for a red Monday, or is it a black Monday, because the S&P is down. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because we keep blowing stuff up. But taking a look at traffic and weather, everything looking good here in Indiana. Bishop Ford a little heavy into the Dan Ryan on in. Other than that, things looking good on the Illinois side. Bob, you did say there was an earlier accident. I'm not seeing on my chart, so you tell them about that.
Yes, it is 94 eastbound between County Line Road and 421 out towards the Michigan City area. So, again, if you're heading out that way, there may be something eastbound on 94 to look out for.
We have a beautiful week shaping up in weather. Tell us about it.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at
Good
47
morning.
degrees with highs of 71 and lows of 51. It should be breezy this morning, otherwise mostly sunny and warmer. And then tomorrow and Tuesday we'll be having highs of 57 and lows of 41 with some sun, then turning cloudy with a couple of showers. And then Wednesday we'll be having highs of 47 and lows of 28. It should be windy and cooler with periods of rain and a thunderstorm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it.
It's Mission Accomplished Mondays here in WJOB.
We're just children. I can't believe they let us in here.
Because you saw the email. We can't talk about it, though. But, yeah, no, he just said do whatever. Just don't give me an FCC violation. He loves you. He speaks so highly of you. He's like, that Bob.
That Bob. He's a great guy.
Somebody like that Bob on Mondays is so great. Like, yeah, no, I come into the studio every Monday just to listen to him.
Who can listen to me? You take up all the air with your ranting and raving. Speaking of ranting and raving, let's talk about the train for a second.
You want to talk about the train?
I do want to talk about the train.
We should talk about the train.
Let's talk.
Go ahead. I'm going to let you talk about the train so I don't get blamed.
Okay, so we all know that the South Shore is it's coming to town. The South Shore is coming to town, and it was sometime at the end of this month. Not last month or last year when they thought it was going to open, but sometime at the end of this month, they're going to have a grand opening. And we all got excited because while you may not like going to ribbon cuttings and those things, it was a transformational project for the area. So we want to, I got an eye roll from Lynette. So anyway, so they're going to do this ribbon cutting here, but evidently it is not, it's not going to be at, the Munster Dyer station, not where it ends. They're going to hold it up in Hammond, and that's fine. That's fine.
Go ahead. Go ahead. For those of you that are listening on the radio, Lynette,
I created a picture.
Lynette did me wrong, but Bob did me wrong first. There's a fantastic photo of me in my cool new leather jacket riding the train at night. Apparently, the South Shore now runs on the L tracks, but that's cool around the loop. But it's a great photo of me riding the South Shore into downtown, just reflective on the beautiful day and what a glorious commute I'm having on the new train. Go ahead. Carry on. Sorry.
And I'm not a graphic designer. I just make these things with the help of the interwebs. So here's why I'm a little miffed. We've had a handful of residents in the Dyer area ask, hey, can we get on the inaugural ride? This has been no. First off, there's no room at the inn.
How many? Do you know how many people a train holds?
Well, I'm thinking they had touted that they'd be able to run, I don't know,
it was
7,500
rides
people
a day.
But evidently there's no room for any of the local folks that it is.
Can I tell you? So I know you're not a train guy.
I'm not a train guy.
If you're not, if you guys are, I know you guys probably aren't train people, but I'm going to tell you something interesting about trains. You ready for this?
Yes.
Here's the cool thing about a train. If there's not enough room on the train, you can add another car to the train. Like you can make the train longer. They have these things and it couples, they go and then they couple, and then you can add cars and make the train longer. Isn't that cool?
I didn't
so
know
if
that.
if you have
it's not just one car.
So it's not one car.
Okay.
It's actually two cars. But then if you need more space, if you like say you want
3.
No, 4s. Multiples of 2s.
Ooh.
But let's say you had a train and you're like, hey, I want to add bicycles. right?
Oh, good.
You could take the train and you could take all the seats out and you could put bike racks in it. And then so what happens is when the train's really busy, people can sit on the bike racks because nobody's putting their bike on them. They can sit on them. They can hang their briefcase from the bike rack. You can sit on the floor in between the bike racks. It's a cool thing. But what I'm saying is, again, follow me on this because I know that people that run that railroad may not understand this. But let me explain this to you. If you have a train that's full, you could add more cars and make it longer to fit more people. Is that cool or what? Again, I play with model trains. I mean, maybe they can't do that in the.
It shows.
I play with trains all the time, and when you have to put more stuff on the train, you just make it a little longer, right? So. I do this as sarcastically as I can possibly muster because this is the biggest I told you so in WJOB history. For the last 10 years, I've been saying to you guys, you're not the stakeholders. The people paying for it, the 150 people losing their homes, the people affected by it, you're not the stakeholders. This is no different than what I said a couple weeks ago about the Bears Stadium. The people doing this are doing this for one reason. So that when the day comes, the governor and the former governor who took your money to pay for it, they are going to be on the train eating horse duvers or d'oeuvres. They're going to be on this train. There'll be a red carpet. Everybody will be there except for the people that paid for it, except for the people affected by it, except for the people whose neighborhoods are going to change. They are not invited. You are not invited. You are not a stakeholder, sir or madam. And Bob has learned a very harsh lesson. Harsh. You guys supported this train. You guys gleefully signed the interlocal agreement for 30 years, just like everybody else did. Said, we will gladly pay for your train. We'll gladly pay tomorrow for your train today. And now what happens? All of the people that gleefully signed up for it, all of your elected officials that said, we will gleefully give them your money or, EIC, LOIT money, whatever it was, a quarter of a half. Sure, Pete, whatever you need. They find out the harsh reality that you are not a stakeholder either.
No, we're not stakeholders. And, it's a little disappointing.
A little disappointing, he says.
Just a little disappointing. All we want to do is ride on the choo-choo train.
You were not there. Have you looked at the interlocal agreement? Honestly, I'll get you a copy.
No.
Do you know that your town signed on to the interlocal agreement to pay for this for 30 years?
Yes.
So you're the guy. Imagine
past councils.
Imagine you buy a house. Like imagine I go and I buy a house. I sign a mortgage for 30 years, and I go, hey, I'm going to have an open house, and then they go, well, you're not invited. Like. What do you mean I'm not invited? It's my house. I paid for it. No, you are not invited. The people, the public officials and everybody else, your realtor, everybody else is coming to the party. But you, the mortgage holder that's paying for it, are not invited to the party.
I wonder if they're only going to invite those elected and previously elected officials who signed the agreement. Maybe that's why there's no room.
There was a story that my friend Jim Nowacki told to Chris Harden, YouTuber, about the Gary Railcat Stadium, that the councilmen that voted against the Railcat Stadium did not get their names on the plaque.
Oh, right.
I mean, that's how petty the region is. But but Bob, you are going to be around for a while, I hope, as a councilman.
God willing, and the creek don't rise.
You do a good job, and I hope you're going to be the one paying for this. So here's what I would here's my piece of advice for the Dyer Council and every other council that's been disinvited to the event. You're going to find out you're the only one that's, because of me, you're going to find out you're the only one disinvited. But if the local county council, local town councils, whoever, if you guys find out that you are not invited to this train soiree, hey, boss, morning, come on down. We're having fun here. So if you, Jim, were you invited to the train? Did you get invited? They're going to have the train soon. Did you get invited? No, he didn't get it. You didn't get invited either. Oh man.
Here's one. My show. You've been yapping for an hour and a half.
Let me say one thing, and then you can have the rest of the segment. Every council, every person that was disinvited to this train, I would like you to come to my train grand opening And I would like you to stand there
with your little.
You guys are going to
your
have
little HO scale train in your
no.
basement.
We're going to stand on the train tracks, and every council that got disinvited, you're going to hold up a sign that said, "We're not paying anymore. We're not paying for this train."
I think we're going to hold our own ribbon cutting at the Dyer Munster one, and it'll just be me.
There
and
is
you.
no Dyer station. Stop saying that.
Hey,
it's insulting to Dyer.
We've got a parking lot.
You've
Leave
got a
us alone.
parking lot.
No, so we were going to have some.
Did you get a haircut? You look good, Jim.
He does. Yeah, hop on blue. There, you're not going to have ears. We don't have ears for you, but you're fine.
So
he's on.
Go ahead.
He's
I
on
said it's your
4.
turn.
We got the producer who has a good ear for sound, right?
Yeah.
She told me. Did you hear earlier? I was trying to take a break, and she's like,
did you?
"You
She
cannot
slapped him
take
down.
a break." She said, "Don't take a break."
She took charge. It was
because I was taking too many breaks.
She's got to cut them up, and if you do 12 minutes or 14, then it's not long enough.
I was trying to get you some extra money. I was trying to get you some extra dollars, some extra shekels, and she said, "No, don't take a break."
Hey, does
Can you believe that?
anybody listening remember
In
when
15
3 minutes
years,
ago they said, "Oh, Bob can talk"?
In 15 years, not a single producer ever told me, "Don't take a break." This is the first time I ever took too many
Hey,
breaks.
Bob.
Yeah.
Long before you came here,
Yes.
I had to talk about the train pretty much every day for years, okay? And I made the mistake. I did not listen to what Colby said. He goes, you can personally think something's a good idea or you want to give it a try, but you can't come out for something that's going to be an ongoing issue. So what happened was I said, well, I think it might be. They got to be able to hear our voices.
Oh,
we can play off of
No.
off of our phone.
I can play off of my phone.
Yeah, just
all right. So
it's a thing.
So you're non-committal right now.
I am. I'm not too jazzed about it. The more that we're working with them in town, the more as soon as it opens, I think it's going to, any problems are just going to be put on the municipalities.
So you want to hear a quick story?
Sure, Jim. It has to be 5 minutes, though. Cause
we have to take a break, but we'll be back.
No. Let me finish it because I'm leaving. All right. So I want you guys to understand this. So the South Shore puts out, they have the same marketing person for 10 years, and ridership has plummeted, right? So I'm like, all right, well, they put out an RFP for a 5-year, basically around a $3 million contract. So I called Tom Shager at the Times, and I'm like, okay, what do you think? He's like, whoa, this looks pretty good. I called Rick Federici at WIMS. I said, think about it, Rick. You're in Michigan City. I'm in Hammond. Shager's basically in Dyer. I mean, we're like, this is right. And then we go and we get with Whittington, Chelsea Whittington, and Gary. So now we're covered all the way down the line, all up and down. And I go, well, why don't we take a shot at this, right? And Shager's guys come in and they put together what we think is a pretty killer marketing plan to market the train. Let's get people behind the train. So we go out to the meeting, and it comes down to basically us and the woman who had it for 10 years. And I'm like, there's no possible way that could be better than what we are. But we go to the pre-meeting, and I see that it's her friends, the woman out of Valparaiso. Then we go to the board meeting, and I see Costas is sitting on the board, and then like a bunch of other like old white guys. And all it reminded me of is like, first of all, I know we're not getting it, okay, because it's all a back pocket deal. And I'm like, what it reminded me of is I went to the Little Cal Commission when I worked here the first time in the mid-'80s, and I came back to the newsroom, and I said to Larry Peterson, I go, Mr. Peterson, far be it from me, I'm 22 years old to make a judgment, but is this the most messed up board you ever seen? He goes, oh, my God, the Little Cal, one day that's going to cost us. Well, it took about 25 years before it really hit us. But then I said, all right, I should have said something, and then I should have said something when we bought in 2004 and we were still around. I go, what are these Little Cal people even doing? And I feel like they need to give this board some direction, or somebody needs to take somebody. I don't even know what's happening. Now, they were underfunded, and that's their problem, but someone needs to take charge of it. They can go get the funding, because I know that the Little Cal floods. My grandpa showed me the pictures in 1955. He scared the I almost said a bad
yeah,
word.
That's a bad word.
Yeah.
Use that.
He's scared. So I'm like, all right, I should have said something. And I take a minor amount of understanding that I should have said. So we go out to this meeting of the South Shore Board, and we go through this whole process. And I go to Shager. He's the president of the Times. And I go, hey, no way, man. This reminds me of the Little Cal Commission in 1985. And I go, I don't want anything to do with it. But if anybody asks me, and this came up just now, I say, well, I think that they need to take a long look at how that money is spent and how that is governed. So I'm with you. I should not have come out for it. I should never have done it because Colby said a long time ago, don't ever do that. All right, because now you're the lightning rod every day, and it was so boring. Chuck, MX, all the people that were against the train calling in every day, and I'm like, well, I just think it's not. Let's give it a shot. You know what I mean? We have all this federal money, blah blah blah. So I wanted to tell you that story and to say that perhaps I should have taken a second look at it back in the day. How's that feel for a public remonstrance? Because Chuck and I would argue about this vociferously, when we're trying to put stuff together. So how's that feel?
I accept your apology.
Okay.
Don't ever do it again. Lesson learned.
But the Bears Stadium's a great idea.
But the Bears Stadium is going to be transformational. Right next to the convention center, that's going to be transformational. And the toll road, that's going to be transformational.
Whatever happened to you, man? What happened to you? You used to be a man full of hope. What happened to him, Bob?
When was I full of hope? Like
I'll give you
the hope went away. I have always told you. Remember, like my first story, the first exposure I had to politics as a child was the Sidewalk 6 scandal, and then the Calumet Township assessors. That was when I first started paying attention to politics at like whatever it was, like 12 years old or whatever. That was my first exposure to politics. Was the corruption of Lake County. I was talking earlier, we were playing a clip this morning. It was Preacher, Big George, and Gloria talking about Indictment Fridays. They were talking about Philpott and the machine guns and the convention and Visitors Bureau. I mean, basically all the stuff that, still happens. But we grew up listening to corruption. We grew up surrounded by corruption.
Yeah, but look, you got Dyer. When was the last time we had an Indictment Friday? Bob, when was the last time?
Oh, it's been a while, which means they're probably stacking up.
So you're assuming that because there are no more indictments, that there's no more crime. I contend that they've essentially given up, that they've essentially walked away and just said, do your thing.
It's too much information anymore. If you can't really do what they used to do because of the internet and tracking and every little thing you do, you have no idea. You know. I was reading last night that AI could know everything about you, everything. Where you've been on the internet, what do you like to eat at restaurants, and they could aggregate all that information. What do you think a white collar criminal that's going to get into office in Lake County? They'll be caught in 6 months if they're trying to steal money openly. Now, there probably are some people that
they'll just make us smarter.
I don't know, man. I just think that if there is anything about AI, is that it's going to at least lessen the corruption over time. Because where are you going to steal money from? Are you going to get a paper bag and have a bunch of cash? Where are you going to
put a dollar sign on it and have tow truck drivers handing it to you? Yeah, I can never see that happening.
Well, that was pre all of this information that's going on. Hey, thanks for letting me stop in.
Oh, yeah, no, we had no choice. No, it was great. Hey, it's 8:32 in the region. We're going to take a break. If that's okay with you, Lynette, I'd like to take a break.
I'm heading out.
And then we'll do traffic and weather if that's okay with you. But we'll be back with more after this.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Kelly McCollege of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
Planting a tree, installing a fence, whether your project is big or small, NIPSCO reminds you to know what's below and contact 811 at least 2 full business days before doing any digging so that utility companies can mark the location of their underground lines. Contacting 811 is free and it's the law. Avoid possible penalties, costly repairs, or injuries. DIY or a pro, safety is in your hands. Every dig, every time.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
Specificity is what sets it apart. It's securely accessing everything within Slack instead of just all over.
35 in the region. A whole bunch of people that aren't on the radio or talking in the studio. So let me know when you guys are done, and I can do radio here. Are you doing the Egyptian? What is that, the moonwalk? Okay. Let me take a look at, let's look at traffic and weather. Here's what I've done for you guys because I love the callers. I've kicked everybody off of the set. It's going to be just you and I for a segment. I'm going to take calls. Okay. I promise. So let's do traffic and weather. Everything looking good here in Indiana, 80, 94, 65, Skyway Toll Road. Everything looking good on the Illinois side. You got that usual slowdown, Bishop Ford to Dan Ryan on into the circle. Other than that, things looking fantastic in the area roadways. The week is shaping up to be absolutely beautiful. Lynette, tell us about it.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 49 degrees with highs of 71 and lows of 51. It's going to be breezy this morning, otherwise mostly sunny and warmer. And then tomorrow and Tuesday we'll be having highs of 57 and lows of 41 with some sun, then turning cloudy with a couple of showers. Then Wednesday we'll be having highs of 47 and lows of 28. Should be windy and cooler with periods of rain and a thunderstorm.
We are having, if you're just tuning in, it's a new show today. It's called Mission Accomplished Mondays. Let me tell you why. So not only we blew up Ayatollah Khomeini, he has been replaced. By who? By Ayatollah Khomeini, his son, who is more hardline than he is. As I always joke, when you get rid of somebody, you will inevitably find somebody worse to replace him. Oil at $103 a barrel. The S&P. Let's take a look. The market just opened a minute ago. Let's take a quick look at the markets because, they're doing fantastic. Markets are down 1% out of the gate. No idea why. Just because. But we're taking your phone calls for this last segment. So let's go to it. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Oh, my God. It's Mr. Agenda himself, Chuck Poland. Good morning.
Oh, yes. Let's talk Mr. Agenda. That's going to be my new nickname.
I know.
Mr. Agenda.
Oh, for real. Corruption, who was that? That last guy that was in here that walked in the morning, that guy, the morning show guy, he said something about corruption. Oh, it's gone. Okay, I've got news for all of you Republicans, you Democrats, all of you people that subscribe to the system that is what's destroying us from within. The system that makes you feel that you just backing up the problem of humanity, basically, and encouraging it because everyone is looking for a hero. We're the only heroes. Okay, we're the only ones. You keep saying we're the ones that did this. We did. We did it to ourselves, Chuck. You're absolutely right. No one wants to admit it. It's so out of hand. Don't bother buying a house, folks. Don't even think about it. The Indians and the Middle Easterners are all getting them for free, as well as cars at Toyota ships, dealerships, everything. H-1B1. So all of you white Americans, all of you of-color Americans, all of you Latino Americans that are always whining about your culture, do you realize what they did when all of us were fighting amongst each other and trying to get calls out? They imported millions of people here to take all the jobs, get all kinds of rent for free, everything. And you're still arguing about Trump. You're still arguing about your skin color. It was the easiest thing they could do is divide all of us. It's so simple. You hear it here every day. Every Tuesday, it's all about race or something else. It's an absolute joke, just like the Iran war, okay? Here, listen up, Griffiths, because here's the other thing, too. This war is a joke, and we're getting hosed. Does anybody realize there is no water in the Middle East? There's not a drop of water there. Okay, they got to truck in water. They got a 3,000-year-old canal that runs from the mountains up there in Iran. It comes down in Iran. It comes down and it's been aquifer. It's an aquifer. It's 3,000 years old. And the head of Iran just said, you know what? We're going to have to possibly move from the center of Iran to the coasts because we have no water here. Dubai doesn't have any water. Kuwait, everybody. All you had to do was cut off supply lines to the water, and the war is over. But I'm sorry, because people like Griffith and everybody else, they want the bombs. They want the smoke bombs on TV. They want to be fed the CGI and the fake news footage so they can feel like they're in control and their country is doing something for them. They're doing nothing. You got the people that run this country, like BlackRock, they're not even letting people withdraw their money. There is the biggest risk of capital flight out of these banks by the end of 2026. 20% of all is your local bank ready? I bet it's not. 20% of local deposits are going to flee. They're going to go to places like Coinbase and Kraken, and it's all because of the Clarity Act and the Genius Bill. But I'm sorry. Chuck, be responsible with your agenda. Stop me from talking, because what's more important is how much melanin my skin holds, how many culture parties I can have, and how many people I can stay away from as the white man. And nobody's got the guts to talk about it but you and I. That's it. We're doomed. We're done. It's over.
Okay.
And somebody call up and argue with me about it. Go ahead.
No.
Sorry, that's my Monday rant. I came in with some energy.
Here, I appreciate that. You got to bring it on Mondays. It's mission accomplished Mondays. You got to bring it.
Absolutely.
I've been waiting for you because I wanted to talk about this. Have you been following the Artemis missions? The NASA Artemis.
No. What can you?
So check this out.
NASA Artemis.
Okay. So originally NASA tells us, Artemis, we're gonna have like a moon base. We're gonna have a base on the moon. We're gonna start doing stuff on the moon. Then a few years later, all woman crew, by the way, all woman crew going to the Artemis.
Yep.
It's good.
More
photo
divisiveness.
Right.
Men suck. Go ahead.
And then they said, well, you know what? we may not be able to build a base on the moon. We may just have to, just like land on the moon. Right? I mean, we may just, because that's not too hard. We've done that before.
Again?
Again.
Yeah.
We're going to land on the moon. We're going to play, the ladies will play a little golf, and then we'll go home. So now they've come out and said, hey, so we can't land on the moon, but what we're going to do, we're going to fly by the moon. We're going to fly around the moon. So we've essentially, I'm going to Google real quick let me ask Google. How much did Artemis cost? Let me do this real quick. So,
sure.
Let me hang on. Because I'm curious about this. So here's the thing, Brad. The Artemis program. Come on, think about it, AI. Tell me how much. $93 billion. So NASA is spending $93 billion.
Almost as much as the train.
They've essentially here it gets better. We've essentially turned the moon into a giant roundabout. We are going to fly to the moon, go around the moon like a giant roundabout, and then come home. That's for $93 billion. We're going to go to the moon roundabout, fly around it, and then come home, which supposedly we did many decades ago, and we have probes. So where is the $93 billion going to fly a ship round about the moon and then come? Like, how are we spent? What are you not? Mission accomplished. There we go. Mission accomplished. We spent $93 billion to fly around the moon like a roundabout and then come home. Explain to me how that benefits a single human being besides the space industrial complex, besides Lockheed Martin, Boeing, etc. How does that $93 billion of flying around the moon and then coming home benefit anybody in this country or on this planet?
It gives them the comfort that they can possibly someday get out of this place. That's what it's all about. I'm sorry, that is the biggest tax hole. And it's going to be really, really hard for people to admit this one, because that helps you get closer to God, that whole space thing. Look, folks, if you really want to know and you want to look into it, you're going to find out, and you should be angry about it, considering the cost of your heating bills, considering the cost of the groceries and everything. You got guys up there playing space. They're playing space, okay? And they're taking it on your dollar. It does nothing. They've got to be one of the biggest, most fraudulent agencies out there. I'll say it because there's just so much evidence online that we're being duped by them in so many ways. And you know what? We're duped by everybody that's in on it too. All their contractors, all their everything. Where does this money go? It's not going to the train because, well, that wouldn't be an issue now, would it? I mean, the train.
We could build 93 trains. We could build 93 trains to everywhere for the cost of one Artemis mission roundabout around the moon and back again.
Yeah, no, but everybody wants to go around the moon, but nobody wants to turn the camera to take a picture of the Earth. You ever notice that?
I also, by the way,
get a live feed from the Earth.
I've just gotten 8,000 text messages from Mad Mac. He wants me to ask you,
of course,
if the moon landings were real. Thoughts?
No, heck no, they're not real. Why does that guy keep doing that? You know, on the outside, folks, I send that guy articles all day. He doesn't answer anything. He keeps going back to the moon is fake. He called me an idiot when I said, no, you know, they could just stop the water supply lines and blow up all the desalination plants in Iran, or at least just stop the electricity to them, and the war is over in a day. But no, everybody wants to see Trump get up there in his plane when he's wiping the lipstick off from Carolyn Levitt there and going, hey, I'm sorry, but we need to bomb them. Do they? You know what? That's the problem. Everybody is just so ignorant to what's going on. I'm not going to call them stupid. They just refuse to educate themselves. And then they think they're educated, and then they get on here, and it's like, I'm still waiting for that debate. I'm still telling everybody, come on, I'm giving you 10 to 1 odds, man. Come with $100 and debate me on there. I got $1,000 cash sitting there. I'll take your money all day long. Because you can't, Chuck, it's logic. They refuse to talk logic. It's more important to walk away from the microphone or hang up the phone and go, that's right, I got my call in. I got my say-so. I feel good. I'm reaching power. And it's just sad because we're sitting here literally losing everything. Like, can you imagine what our kids, well, I don't have kids, but I have relatives, what they're going to deal with? Because people are going to say, well, I know I put on a mask, and I know that was a big hoax, too, but, you know, I like the train, but now I don't. I mean, it's kind of like COVID. You know, it's going to be accepted that nobody ever holds me to the fire for all I do. I'm just going to continuously make an excuse for it, and then it's going to go away because the entertainment complex that is the government is just going to provide another argument for us. Just some other way to divide us. And you know what they'll tell us? They'll say, you're crazy. They'll say you and I are the crazy ones. We'll wind up in the insane asylums like they did with the last reset here, but nobody wants to look up that either. So I don't know, Chuck. Does it matter anymore? Should I just go outside and put myself in the middle of Indianapolis Boulevard and say, run me over? I'm giving myself up for the region.
Why, before you go too far, why don't we just you and I could just go to the park and touch grass? How about that? We'll go. That's our problem.
Exactly.
We're not touching it. So I want to
roll some joints. We'll eat.
Well, oh, hang on. No, I didn't say that. I just said I want to touch some that kind of grass, Brad. I got to take some more calls. I love you as always. Thank you for chiming in.
You got it, man.
I appreciate it.
You got it. It's Monday.
It's mission accomplished Good, Monday. Man. Mission accomplished.
Exactly. We'll talk to you soon, everybody. Have a good week.
Appreciate it. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on here. We got no more caller. Oh, I hung up on him for nothing. Okay, well, but I wanted to wrap up anyway. So it's just us now. How you feeling?
Feeling good.
You feeling good? That's good. I'm glad. I mean, that's the goal. This is the thing. Like it becomes. I hope that people don't look at this and go, well, man, it's a depressing Monday morning. Because again, like what else is there to do but laugh about this stuff? Like I said, I mean, you know, NASA says we're going to go to the moon. And then, well, we're not going to build a base there. We're just going to land on it. And then never mind, we're just going to fly by it. It's like, well, we've been flying by it. How are you spending $93 billion to fly by the moon? Like, I don't want to hate NASA. It just comes naturally at this point. Like this idea that, I see you guys out there protesting, I can't pay my bills. And then they turn around and go, well, we can fly to the moon. We can build you a stadium. We can build you a train. And that's what they do for you. But what do we do? Like, what do we do about, I'm the only crazy guy. Brad and I are the only ones out here saying, hey, should NASA really be spending $93 billion doing a drive-by roundabout of the moon and coming back? Like, is that really the best way to spend our money? I don't know. I mean, I'd love to, everybody always says, Velcro and Tang. Velcro and Tang, Chuck. You wouldn't have Velcro and Tang if it wasn't for NASA. That's cool. There's a lot of things that we don't have in this country because Velcro and Tang and, blowing stuff up. But who am I? Who am I? Just a region guy here on a mission accomplished Monday. Why don't we, I don't know. I'm out of gas. I'll be honest. Everybody.
We got one more
we got
caller
a call?
now.
Okay. Well, we'll take the call and then we'll wrap up here in a couple minutes. So let's take the last caller of Mission Accomplished Monday. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah. Instead of sending people around the moon, I'd rather have them beef up the systems to make certain that we don't get whacked by a big rock from deep space that wiped out 80% of life on Earth back 66 million years ago, and or for that matter, all the fuss about the big push for Mars, landing on Mars kind of thing. I think we should do a little more in terms of protecting Mother Earth. What do you think?
Well, I mean, but Walt, how do you? This is what I like. How do you spend? You were there. You were there when we went to the moon, right? You were watching on TV. You saw all that. You watched it. Now imagine living long enough for them to say, hey, we're going back to the moon. We're not really going back. We're just going to fly around it, and it's going to cost $93 billion. You've been around long enough to say, I remember when we did that. We don't need to do it again, and we don't need to spend $93 billion doing it. But who is out there saying, wait a second, you're right, Walt. I mean, there's so many other things, if you're going to be dealing with space, that we could be spending money on. Like, you bring up a valid point. If the day comes that we find out that there's something hurtling towards us, what are we going to do about it? I know they have meetings and they talk about it, and they have committees and talk about what to do, but would we be able to do something about it? I don't know. But we can certainly, go to the moon.
You're hitting on a good point. First, to detect it, and second, have the means to do something about it, to nudge it out of its path so it doesn't crash into the Earth and wipe out 80% plus of the life on Earth, which would certainly include us. I mean, the things that survived were little furry creatures that lived underground. I don't think there are 8 billion people on this Earth, and I don't think there's enough space to all dig underground and survive.
Well, here's the thing, Walt. I'm hearing that there's lots of wealthy people digging themselves underground bunkers.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, again, like this idea, well, what are you going to have? There's nothing left. Okay, so you survive in your bunker for 3 or 6 months, and then you pop out and there's nothing here. Then what do you do at that point? You're right. We may be better served just, using that money to detect and have a plan to deal with such an occurrence. But who am I? I mean, who am I? I just a region guy on a mission accomplished Monday.
I've read that the super wealthy and so forth, that they're preparing their fallback place to New Zealand. Although it's interestingly, people are leaving New Zealand for Australia. So maybe there is space for Americans to build a big shelter 50 feet underground and survive a collision with a massive rock the size of Mount Everest.
Well, and that becomes the big question, like one of those things where if they knew, would they tell us? We know they wouldn't, right? I mean, nobody would come out and tell you, oh, by the way, there's a an asteroid in orbit. It'll be back around. And it's going to hit us. And they wouldn't tell us. They would just all kind of disappear one day, right? They just, where'd everybody go? Well, we don't know. Washington's deserted. Where'd everybody go? We don't know.
Let's talk about something a little closer that you talked about earlier, and that is the train.
Mm-hmm.
And the spending, $3 million to try to pep up ridership on the South Shore. Well, this goes back 20 years ago when they first concocted the Regional Development Authority, and one of the major projects was the West Corridor business. And old Walcott calling in and say, one, across the country, ridership on the public transportation is in decline, and that includes the South Shore. It's starting about 2008. The South Shore experienced like 2% ridership loss a year. And then when they talked about the West Corridor, I said, one thing, it's $1 billion project when you could spend that money on a lot better other things. And why spend that kind of money on the West Corridor when ridership on public transportation is in decline? And since COVID, it's been a catastrophe in terms of ridership.
And but
on our side of the.
But the thing is, Walt, it's not just, you remember, like, for instance, when they had the Dan Ryan construction, they had a huge spike in ridership. This isn't a temporary thing. The COVID fundamentally changed the idea of going into the office, right? That's the thing, is that at no point during or in the back end of COVID did we say, look, the world has changed. And Walt, I always use the example, when they first started planning this train, the internet didn't exist. People still went to the steno pools and the trading pit downtown like Jim Delo used to do. The world changed so dramatically in the time it took for us to plan and do this project that it's no longer necessary. And that's that's government in a nutshell. It takes them so long. I was listening to Sean Duffy talk about the air traffic control system. He said, it took us so long to develop and implement the system. It's outdated and we haven't even rolled it out yet. And we've spent billions of dollars on it. That's how our government works. They spend billions of dollars, just like the rural broadband initiative and any of the things. We spend billions of dollars developing something. We spend so much time developing and talking about it that it's outdated by the time we do it. That's how government works. And we just accept it, that's how things are.
Well, if you follow the front pages of the papers and the front page version of the TV and radio here in the Chicago area, crime is on decline. They're insistent on it, but I think what they're doing is they're including as a crime spitting on the ground and jaywalking, because on Sunday on page 11 of the Chicago Sun-Times there was a piece about the growth in serious violent crime on the Chicago Transit Authority.
Right, to the point that
up in the last.
What is that the story
that
basically
87%?
Right, and the federal government's about to pull some of their funding because they can't get their security under control.
Yeah,
But you're encouraging me to take the train. But they're encouraging me, Walt, to take the train downtown and use public transportation to get to work. I've tried that. It's a miserable experience. I will not be doing it again. And that's the problem, is that they talk about these projects, how great it is. The people promoting them have never had to ride them. The people promoting them have never had to go downtown, figure out where the bus is, wait a half hour for a bus, then 5 buses show up at the same time. Like, they've never had to do it. I don't see any of the people promoting these things actually using the things that they are promoting. And that's sort of the inherent problem, is that they've never had to deal with it. They talk about it, and they've never had to do it. And they don't understand what the rest of us go through using their product. It's kind of like that joke about the McDonald's CEO that went and he couldn't even take a bite of his own product, right? That's sort of the thing. It's like, you have no idea what you put people through because you refuse to understand your own product. So, but hey, Walt, I do need to go. I appreciate your call. I appreciate your wisdom as always. Why don't we, Lynette, let's go ahead and wrap up. So I appreciate everybody for calling in, checking in, listening in. I hope this is not, I understand, not the ideal way to start a Monday, but also, like, this is what I feel like we need to be talking about. I feel like these are the things that we need to be talking about to get to the point where we can start changing things. I don't want to just sit here and talk. I don't want to just do monologues. I want people to come up to me and say, hey, I've been thinking about what you said. And I think we need to start doing better. We need to start thinking differently. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear that people are out there going, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. What could we do differently? How could we basically break the cycle? So that's my goal here on Mission Accomplished Mondays, to talk about the cyclical nature of history in such a humorous way that you go, wait, maybe he's on to something. So I appreciate you all for tuning in. We'll do it again next week if everything aligns and God willing and Jim lets us in. Thank you, Lynette, as always. I hope you had fun today as well. We'll be back with more next week. Tune in the rest of the week. Tuesdays with Verley, the magnificent Tom Dabberton on Wednesdays, and then Bob will be back, and Adriana will be back. It'll be all kinds of fun. So tune in the rest of the week. You'll love it. So have a good day, Region. Enjoy the beautiful weather. We'll see you next week.